Is alive and well. North Carolina A&T trying to stay perfect in 2013. Up next, a South Carolina State squad gunning for a 4th straight win in this bounce-back campaign. Aggies and Bulldogs from the Dome right now. Welcome to ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Georgia Dome for North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State in this important early season MEAC showdown. Both teams through with one game in conference play, 27-19 win for A&T against Howard last week. South Carolina State rolled 30-9 against Hampton. We welcome you inside the Dome and inside our broadcast booth with former NFL quarterback Jay Walker, Joe Davis. North Carolina A&T for the first time in more than a decade is off to a 3-0 start. South Carolina State has bounced back from the first losing season in 11 years under Buddy Pugh. They've won 3 straight, and together these two teams setting up a really important early season conference game.
Two programs that have postseason aspirations. North Carolina A&T with an impressive non-conference body of work. Quality victory over Appalachian State and Elon. South Carolina State 3-2, but they won a crucial matchup versus Hampton. Both of these teams think they can make it to the FCS playoffs.
These are two really similar teams, and they're going to win this game if they're going to in really similar ways. It all starts for both teams with running the football.
Both of these offenses like to run, and that happens when you have defensive coordinators that are your head coaches in Rob Broadway and Buddy Pugh. The key is going to be which quarterback can make a big play. And when you're talking about teams that like to run the football, the mantra for both these teams that really separates them from the rest of the pack, they have championship caliber defense. Defensively, they're always applying pressure on the opposing backfield, whether it's through the pass or through the running game. Whichever one of those defense can step up and establish control of the line of scrimmage will help out their team tremendously.
Who in particular on those defenses are we zeroing in on?
When you talk about North Carolina A&T, free safety Travis Crosby is all over the field. He's an explosive playmaker that's got a natural instinct for making plays. And Andrew Carter for South Carolina State, he's a grown man amongst boys. From his defensive end position, he can terrorize opposing backfields.
Send it down to the field now for today's national anthem.
Here to lead us in the national anthem, please welcome R&B and pop recording artist and actor Jacob Lattimore and jazz music superstar Mike Phillips.
those last 3 or 4 verses. But a beautiful job by Mike Phillips with our anthem today, getting us ready for this MEAC game between Buddy Pugh's squad and North Carolina A&T. Pugh took over the program in 2002, now in his 12th season as head coach at his alma mater. He's an all-conference O-lineman in the mid-70s at South Carolina State. And on the other side is Ron Broadway, who's brought stability to this program that had 6 different head coaches over a 10-year span before he arrived a few years ago. They had 14 wins over a 7-season span before he got here, and has turned this program around in just 3 short seasons.
I think when you see those 2 coaches, Buddy Pugh, the dean of all MEAC coaches, he's got the longest tenure, the most titles. You look at Rob Broadway, he's got North Carolina A&T a season ahead of schedule. Normally, it takes 4 years to turn around a program. They're undefeated right now. Aggie pride is back in Greensboro, North Carolina.
They're off to their best start in more than a decade, trying to get to 4-0 for the first time since 1996. Now South Carolina State, perennial powerhouse, trying to get its 4th consecutive win in what they hope is a bounce-back season. Couple of teams with conference title aspirations meeting in this early season showdown from Atlanta. Desmond Lawrence, Tony McCray waiting back. And it's Lawrence to bring it out. And Lawrence has a seam. The former track star with a kicker to beat. And tripped out of bounds near the 40. It's a 60-yard return for the guy playing his first year of college football.
He's a track champion, and he's got speed. I asked Coach Rod Broadway about Lawrence before the football game. Do you think he's the fastest man in the conference? I know he's the fastest player in the MEAC, and he shows you the burst of speed and the ability to change direction on the opening kickoff, giving the Aggies great field position on their opening drive.
The staff recruited him out of high school, but he decided to go to East Carolina to run track. Joined the A&T program last year, wasn't eligible yet, and in his first season in this program has been a big-time return man and by far their leading receiver. So this North Carolina A&T run-heavy offense trying to find some consistency begins with the ball at the Carolina 40. And it's Dominique Drake on first down. 5th-year senior getting 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6 with Joe Thomas making the stop. Lewis Kendall, a 5th-year senior from right here in Atlanta. Went to Westlake High School, followed Cam Newton as the starter there. He was suspended for game 1, so now just playing in his 3rd game and still trying to find consistency.
And it's time for him to make some plays. He's been on campus there for 5 years. This is his senior campaign. They're expecting him to have a good senior season.
His first throw goes into the flats for Devin Moore, his 265-pound tight end. Getting what looks like enough for a first down where Tyler Smith brings him down. It is enough to move the chains.
And in a football game where the game is going to be decided at the line of scrimmage, who controls the line of scrimmage is able to establish the running game. When it comes to quarterback play, whichever quarterback can make a couple of big plays and have the most consistency will give his team the greatest chance for victory.
Toss play. Moore delivers a block for Drake, but it's strung out. Kamario McFadden up from his safety spot to drop him for a loss of a few. If you look at our impact players, Desmond Lawrence and Andrew Carter.
I think America got to see Desmond Lawrence, what he can do on special teams at the wide receiver position as well. But Andrew Carter, watch him, number 41 for South Carolina State. He is an absolute piece of iron playing defensive end. He can really be disruptive in the run and passing game.
2nd in the country in sacks and in tackles for loss. They lost 3, so 2nd and 13, and Kendall's 2nd throw of the day into traffic and incomplete. Off of the hands of McFadden, 3rd and 13.
And it's plays like this, if you're Kendall, you have to avoid. You've got good field position. It's only 2nd down. He threw that ball in the coverage. There were 3 South Carolina State defenders with an opportunity to go for the interception, a big hit. They want more consistent play from the quarterback position. Doesn't have to be great. They just want him to be good.
3 seasons with time as a starter, 23 touchdown passes, but 26 interceptions for the 5th-year senior. Ricky Lewis into the game at running back for the first time. On third down. Protection picked up. Kendall underneath the Lewis. It's fourth down.
Be interesting to see how they match up with Andrew Carter. South Carolina State's going to decide to move him to the defensive end position, playing defensive tackle. When he does that, is able to force Kendall to flush out of the pocket a little bit, making an errant throw.
They've got the offense on the field still. Let's see if they go for it or it's a quick kick situation. This opening drive for North Carolina A&T after Lawrence brought the opening kickoff all the way to the 40. The A&T going to take its first timeout.
Timeout. North Carolina A&T. First charge timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
So Ron Broadway uses his first timeout of the half. And this program really has turned things around. 3-0 for the first time since 2001. They've not been 4-0 since 1996. They've not been 4-0 against a full FCS schedule ever in program history.
They've got it going, and if you think about it, when he took over this program, he said he had 29 players on scholarship. Not 29 scholarships, 29 players, but yet they're undefeated, and they have not had spring football in Greensboro in 2 years. Imagine how good this program will be once they get spring football behind them. They'll have their full allotment of scholarships next year. So that's why I said this is a program that's a season ahead of schedule, and they are overachieving, but they're doing it at a very high rate.
Yeah, they had a total of 14 wins over the 7 seasons before Broadway got here. That included a 27-game losing streak. And with the timeout, they decide to put the punt team onto the field. It's Dominic Frescura bounces it into the end zone, and that's a net gain of 13 yards for North Carolina A&T. Drive started at the 40. They got 1 first down, but that's all.
North Carolina A&T State University.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's, I'm loving it, and in part by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Heck of an atmosphere outside the Georgia Dome. They're filing in to make this better atmosphere inside, but about a 4-hour drive for both of these places, and turned it into a pretty good crowd to watch Richard Q and the South Carolina State offense. A fifth-year senior that really for the first time has been given the full reins of the offense, not having to look over his shoulder like he has for much of his career at that position. They get it to Caleb Davis on the first play, and he steps out of a couple of tackles and explodes for 16 to the 37. Caleb Davis, a fifth-year senior from Quinby, South Carolina, with a solid start.
Get the ball to a playmaker early in space. Don't attack the run in the middle of the defense. Get somebody outside on the edge. Davis able to make someone miss. Big gain on first down for the Bulldogs.
Up-tempo, ground-based offense. They lead the MEAC, averaging 31 points a contest. Redshirt freshman Dondre Brown with his first touch. And Travis Crosby with a tackle. Brown, a guy in the starting role because of injuries. Their top 2 running backs down with injuries. Pendergrass out with an ankle. Taylor out with an undisclosed injury. Likely will play today. But it's been Brown and Lewis Freeman, a couple of underclassmen, that have taken the load.
And Brown, the freshman, fits the traditional mold of a South Carolina State running back. Downhill runner, tough to bring down.
Daquan West off with a slant, pulled down by Olatoye after close to a first down, as we take a look at our impact players when these two teams are on the field.
We talked about Travis Crosby. He's got to be responsible in the passing game as well as the running game for North Carolina A&T. And wide receiver Tyler McDonald, by the time he leaves Orangeburg, South Carolina, he will have rewritten the record books. He's a game breaker. They have to find ways to get him involved in this contest.
Close to 1,900 yards and 14 touchdowns during his career. Brown with no space on third and short. Michael Neal throws him for a loss. It'll be 4th down and 2.
I mean, they're going to overload the box. You're going to see a number of A&T linebackers come to the spot. Anytime you've got 2 linebackers plus a defensive tackle meeting the running back at the hole, advantage defense. Great play call by defensive coordinator Sam Washington from North Carolina A&T.
This is one of the nation's top defenses the last couple of years under Washington, especially against the run. They shut it down to force this punt. Both teams with 1 first down. And both teams with a punt on the opening possession. South Carolina State able to get this one off with Nick Belcher. They had 2 punts blocked against A&T last year. A&T blocked a punt last week against Howard and nearly got to that first one.
They brought the pressure in a game where points are going to come at a premium. Special teams may be the deciding factor. Which team can come up with the biggest play on special teams? This is going to be an interesting ball game. I mean, the intensity is here. I don't know how many games we've done over the past several years where we've seen the pre-game intensity down on the field. You could feel it. These teams really wanted to get after it. A lot riding on the line for both of these ball clubs.
So A&T with its second possession. First one began in South Carolina State territory thanks to the long return from Lawrence. This one from the 25. And a flag down, a delay of game to begin the possession.
Delay of game. Number 7 of offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And those are the things you can't have from the quarterback position. I understand sometimes you go on the road and you don't see where the 25-second clock is. We're in an NFL stadium. 25-second clock is right between the goalposts. You see it. You cannot miss it. Unfortunate for North Carolina A&T.
Option play. Nice cut. Kindle able to get a few of those penalty yards back before Justin Hughes makes the stop. And it'll be 2nd down and 11. And the guy that started the final 2 games of his true freshman season, then missed all of 2010 with a torn ACL. 2011, a monster season for him. Half of his career yards, 16 of his 23 touchdowns during that sophomore year. Here's Ricky Lewis with his first touch, stumbling down after 3, close to the 30.
Ricky Lewis is the most complete running back within the rotation of RBs at North Carolina A&T. You see here, good lead block. He's got the vision, just gets tripped up a little bit on the back of the tight end's block there, unable to pick up more yardage.
And lucky for A&T, a flag down before the snap, which went bouncing by Kindle.
False start. Number 71 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Left tackle William Robinson called.
That's big William Ray Robinson, all 6'3", 305 pounds of him. He's a good one. I mean, he's a guy that today he's going to have to line up against Andrew Carter. You know, that's going to be the key. If he can hold his own in that matchup there versus Carter, gives the offense all types of leeway to not have to double team.
Tough thing is you got Javon Hargrave, who's pretty darn good on the interior. Alexander Glover at the other end, who's really good himself.
And Hargrave's somebody that they raved about. And I think what they're trying to do is by having Carter move to a nose tackle position along with Hargrave, they're giving up the outside pass rush, trying to bring pressure up the middle of the field.
It's picked up this time. Kindle steps up, and on 3rd and 12 will tuck it and get about 9. So 4th down for the Aggies.
So they've made the adjustment. They're lining up Andrew Carter along with Javon Hargrave in the middle of the field. You're going to see this is Carter right here. Watch the penetration he's able to get and force him out. Quick first step. They can't block him with the tackle there. Timothy Sunkins forcing Kindle to leave the pocket early. Chess match going on down there on the field, Joe Davis.
And the South Carolina State defense loaded with experience, which has led the way during this 3-game winning streak, forces a 3 and out. Frescura's second punt already is a good one. Driving Stephen Murphy back inside the 20. Murphy got a block. And Murphy's out across the 30 on a 16-yard return. The junior out of Kingsland, Georgia. South Carolina State back on offense for its second possession when you come back. Two teams with MEAC title aspirations meeting up, both 1-0 in conference play. And South Carolina State back on offense from the 31. And here's Dondre Lewis Freeman, his first touch of the game. Guy that 2 weeks ago was on the scout team, but last week the MEAC Offensive Player of the Week, taking advantage with the injuries at running back. Ran for 140 and a touchdown last week. We'll rotate in with Brown this afternoon. Q will heave it out of bounds. Devontae Grant covering Lewis Freeman coming out of the backfield, and 3rd and 9.
Take a look here at the corner blitz, and normally if you can get the throw off, this is what you want. You're going to see the blitzing cornerback come in here. Area's open out here for the swing. They're not able to capitalize. You get that corner blitz, if you can get it to them, that's a great play. Instead, Q didn't feel the timing was there, got rid of it. That's also a smart play.
Empty set with a twist, getting home, and Q going down back at the 25. It's Michael Neal who had that stop on 3rd and short on the previous drive, getting his 2nd sack of the season.
Impressive job for North Carolina A&T. This is not a big defensive front by any means, but Michael Neal is the biggest of the big guys up front. They run a nice stunt, confuse the offensive line for South Carolina State, and down goes Richard Q for the sack.
As defensive line for A&T had to replace 3 starters, but they've been a pleasant surprise, along with all that experience they brought back in the back 7. Devontae Graham waiting back for this punt, and it's nearly blocked again. Might have gotten a finger on it, and deflects out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. It's a punt of 10 yards, and North Carolina A&T will have excellent field position. Well, ESPNU's coverage of women's college soccer continues tomorrow with an SEC conference battle. Gamecocks. So 3rd possession for North Carolina A&T, 2nd one to begin in South Carolina State territory. Started the game with the drive from the 40, but had the punt. This is Tariq Cohen, a true freshman that they like a lot, running hard for 5 yards. Average 8 yards on 6 carries in his first taste of big-time action last week.
And he's a small guy, but he's a spark plug. He's 5'8", 165 pounds, low center of gravity. He has one speed, and that's fast. And they like that. He'll learn to slow down and have a 1st and a 2nd gear. But right now, Coach Broadway had a twinkle in his eye when talking about Tariq Cohen, his little spark plug running back from North Carolina, Byrne, North Carolina.
But 100 pounds lighter than his fullback, who paves the way for a 1st down run inside the 25. Devin Moore is 6 foot 265. Tariq Cohen 5'8", 170.
And let this be a lesson to the young running backs out there when they talk about hitting the hole hard. If you build up enough speed, you will win the battle of contact and lean forward for positive yardage. Cohen does a fantastic job of that.
Moore leads the way again. Cohen stumbling down this time for a yard, and it'll be 2nd down and 9. Javon Hargrave with the tackle. Kamario McFadden there to clean it up. Dominic Drake back in the game at running back. Cohen getting a rest. On 2nd down and 9. Play action. Kindle sets up. Fires one for a 1st down. That's DeMonte Brown, a senior, with only his 3rd catch of the season, and it's 1st down and goal.
I'm not 100% convinced he was the intended target. Looked like a crossing route was coming across the face, but if this was a back shoulder throw,
yeah,
give him credit. But would you rather be lucky? Would you rather be good? I think Coach Broadway will settle for luck right now with an opportunity to put points on the board.
Drake behind Moore, sidestepping his way for a few inside the 5-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and goal with Curtis Hill making the tackle. On Broadway's team last year against South Carolina State, a 17-7 win, snapped an 11-game losing streak to the Bulldogs. And it helps send South Carolina State to its first losing season under Buddy Pugh. 2nd and goal. It's Kindle keeping it and getting shut down for a loss of a yard. Alexander Glover leading the way, 3rd and goal.
With the penetration, it's going to be very difficult to force the run when you've got aggressive interior line play, and that's where South Carolina State's trying to exploit North Carolina A&T, moving their defensive ends in the defensive tackles, taking advantage of their quickness as well as their strength. The Aggies have not found a solution yet for the interior pressure being applied by the Bulldogs.
Glover, one of the guys that stood out on film to the North Carolina A&T staff. He makes it 3rd down on the 3rd drive for A&T. Pressure off of the edge. Kindle is sacked back at the 16 by Javon Hargrave. 2nd sack of the season for the sophomore that they think has a chance to be a special player.
I talked to defensive line coach Blanchard before the game, and he said, watch number 97. He's fantastic. He's going to have a big game. The ability to track down Kindle in that small space, he showed some quickness. Although he went unblocked, was able to bring him down for the sack. They've been waiting for Javon Hargrave to arrive. That's a good sign for the young sophomore from Salisbury, North Carolina.
And so Jose Garcia Camacho is in for the talented freshman Cody Jones, out with an injury, to attempt this one from 31. And Garcia Camacho hooks it through for his first field goal since his freshman year in 2011. North Carolina A&T takes advantage of the field position with the first points of the game. Aggies up 3-0, and South Carolina State back on offense when we come back to Atlanta.
.com.
Georgia Dome opened in 1992 as the largest dome stadium in the world when it opened at 71,000. No longer the case. A stadium in London and a stadium in Australia, both bigger than the Georgia Dome now. There's word that they want to knock this down and build a retractable roof stadium before long.
Not word, they're going to.
It's happening.
They got money from the government, I think in 2016. That's when it'll happen. Now, is Jerry's place down in Dallas, is that considered a dome or retractable?
Yeah.
That's
retractable
100,000
roof
people
for sure. Kickoff taken by Austin Smith from the 12th. And Smith pulled down to the 22 by Brian Houston. Well, only 7 races left, and NASCAR's best continuing the drive for the championship. Not much room for air anymore. Matt, I could have named all 3. I didn't look, though. I was looking at my card.
We'll see.
You're going to test me, huh?
I'm going to test you.
South Carolina State takes over at the 23. And Andre Lewis Freeman in the game at running back. And Lewis Freeman, behind a couple of pulling blockers, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and it's 2nd down. All right, test time.
And I want him from left to right.
Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson,
who is this
Kyle
right here?
Busch.
Who is this?
Matt Kenseth.
This is Kenseth? Is he right? Okay, who's that?
Jimmy Johnson.
I know that. That's Jimmy.
Kyle Busch.
All right, you got it right, Joe. I tried.
Pretty good.
I'll mix it up, make it a little bit tougher next time for you.
Second and 10 now. And Lewis Freeman gets popped after a few yards. James Morris with a tackle. It'll be 3rd down.
Continue to be impressed by North Carolina A&T's defensive line. I mean, on the defensive line, they've got one person that's over 6'1", and you see the size right there. When you're outweighed by that much, how do you stop a team from bullying you around the football field?
They'll empty it out for this 3rd down and 6 play. Pressure comes. Q trying to escape. Keeps the play alive, and Fryer's on the run for close to a 1st down. He's in bounds. He didn't make the play. Daquan West pulled it in for a 1st down to the 43.
Great job of escaping, and look at West. Toe the line, make the catch, get the foot down. Good job, young man. Got 2 in for good measure. That's the type of plays they need to help jumpstart this running game. If you can have the fear of the passing game, running the football becomes easier.
Lewis Freeman surges through for 5, a good first down pickup. You were talking about that undersized defense for North Carolina A&T, and we even asked the offensive staff for the Bulldogs, can you just bully him? And he said, I think that everybody would like to do that, but they do so much stunting and slanting up front that it minimizes that size disadvantage.
And give credit, when you talk to South Carolina State, they say they're well coached. I mean, they use leverage, they use their hips, they're never out of position. When you've got a front 7 that's well coached and on the same page, tough to run against.
Q pulls it, has the option to throw the bubble, and does to McDonald, who spins into open space and has a first down to the 41. Touchdown saving tackle from Landis Schaffner, first down Bulldogs.
I mean, look at the move here, the option, get the ball to your playmaker, give it to McDonald, and he's going to go hard inside, nice spin move to the outside, and wow, you talk about a touchdown saving tackle. Barely by Landis Schaffner, number 37, going to get just enough of his ankle to knock him off balance.
First down throw to Quan West, can't hang on, but the coverage from Olatoye is 2nd and 10. Colorado transfer in his 2nd season with the Aggies. He's been battling an ankle injury lately.
Going back to Tyler McDonald, he's a guy that's got NFL talent. He's got great numbers on the season, but his best game of the year came versus Clemson. That tells you what type of football player he can be.
Lewis Freeman thrown down by Schaffner, and it's 3rd down after a loss of 3. Yeah, 31.5 yards per catch for Tyler McDonald.
He's got the ability to stretch the field. I think when you've got someone with that type of talent, you have to force feed him the football sometimes. As a quarterback, I'm coming looking saying, can I get it to him? And then I go to everybody else second.
Screen against pressure. Perfect call. Caleb Davis inside the 10. First and goal, South Carolina State. Isaiah Martin back to make the stop after a 3rd down gain of 36.
Great job by Caleb Davis of setting it up. What you've got to do is you've got to give him a step here, then come around and make the catch. Once he does that, it's all upfield with the foot race. So he sell it, come off the block, then it becomes a sprint to the end zone. Great blocking by the lineman getting downfield. Big number 57, Dominic Wilson. South Carolina State with a great play call.
Lewis Freeman. It's 4, 2nd down and goal.
2nd and goal. This is danger zone right now. If you're North Carolina A&T, they've got a record right now for most consecutive quarters without giving up a rushing touchdown. The good thing is, with about 6 seconds to go in this quarter, it may last for at least one more quarter.
South Carolina State trying to snap it. You can see the pride in that Aggie defense, not wanting to allow a touchdown on the ground. Olatoye from his corner spot makes the tackle, and this quarter comes to a close. Yeah, 7 games it's been since they've given up a rushing score. Got to go back to October of last season. It'll be 3rd and goal when we start the 2nd.
LSU takes on Texas A&M.
October 20th of last year, the last time North Carolina A&T gave up a rushing touchdown. Knowing that of your South Carolina State, do you consciously try to snap that?
You want to break their will.
Right.
You want to get the mental edge. 2 yards to go. I think it's 4 down territory. You force feed the run. You establish, we're going to pound the football. Let them try and demoralize them early in this football game by ending that streak in which the Aggies take great pride in.
Although they put the smaller of the 2 running backs in the game, Dondre Lewis Freeman at 5'7", 195, instead of the 235-pound Brown.
And be careful, they've snuck number 82. This is Caleb Davis into the backfield.
It's Lewis Freeman to snap the streak and put South Carolina State in front.
They put the running back in the backfield for a distraction, a little misdirection. This is just a power run. Good job on the seal block by Devin Flowers, the right guard, and made that look pretty easy. Dondre Lewis Freeman in for the score.
And the extra point from Nick Belcher is good with a flag down. So South Carolina State, one of the top running teams in the MEAC, has the first rushing touchdown in nearly one full calendar year against North Carolina A&T. The pink hat and the pink whistles, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If it's offsides on the defense, and clearly it's the clock.
Outside on the defense. As soon as the flag still good.
So South Carolina State jumps in front 7-3.
And good job just getting a big body pulling on the linebacker. And you can, anytime you can get big guys to move in space, that's a plus. And give credit to number 78, Devin Flowers. Big right guard was able to come around, serve as a lead blocker, allowing Lewis Freeman to go into the end zone a little bit easier than expected.
MEAC Offensive Player of the Week, a guy that was the fourth-teamer 2 weeks ago as part of the scout team, but injuries to Pendergrass and to Taylor allowing him to get a bulk of the carries and taking full advantage. What a stable of running backs they've got.
And the go-to guy, Jalen Simmons, was lost before the season even began. He was the running back everybody expected would carry the load this year. He'll get a medical red shirt. But that's something, when the programs are rolling, running backs at South Carolina State, nothing new. I mean, they've had running backs for a long time. They're bringing back the tradition.
Boy, an awful kick. That ball goes out of bounds to the 14, and this will be a 35-yard line start to the possession for North Carolina A&T. Trailing for the first time in this game.
Offside. Kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Don't think offsides is a call there. Legal procedure, kicking the ball out of bounds. So A&T will have it at the 35-yard line. Got points out of their last possession that began inside the 40. What are you seeing from the offense so far?
They haven't capitalized. They had a great kickoff return to open up the game, walked away with 0 points, settled for a field goal. They've got to get it going.
Play action on first down, mixing up the play calls and taking a shot with a double move. Michael Weaver can't hang on. Had the defender beaten by about 5 yards. Through his hands in second down.
I love this play call. I was questioning why Kendall did not get the ball to him sooner, because he was setting him up for the route here. I thought he was open here, but then he took it up this way. You've got to lay out, come out with this catch here. I'm thinking right now, throw the ball to him. He's open. Oh, they got him. Hook, line, and sinker. At the very least, Michael Weaver, lay out, make the catch, go to the ground, have a big completion. Instead, he drops it, trying to run through the ball for the touchdown catch. Missed opportunity.
Here's Ricky Lewis with a seam. Lewis with a solid second down gain to set up a third manageable. Both these teams, a running game a big part of what they do, and as a result, play action a big part of what they do. When they only throw it a select number of times, you've got to connect when you got shots.
Have to make catches. You've got to make the big plays, and as a receiver, you've got to play above and beyond what you normally would.
Lewis is shut down on 3rd and short. McFadden like a rocket out of the secondary, and it's 4th down. The offense so far staying on the field.
No, you've got to punt it. You know, as much as you would like to, and you want to get some momentum to get this offense going. One thing about Coach Rob Broadway, defensive-minded coach, he's going to trust his defense to force a team to drive all the way down the field before he will his offense to gain 2 yards at not quite midfield.
3rd punt already for Skura. That one wobbles out of bounds close to the 30. For Skura was really good early on this season, but not good so far this afternoon. 7-3 South Carolina State early in the second.
ESPNU College Football Primetime. brought to you by AT&T, Rethink Possible, and Lexus, introducing a car designed with one purpose, to stand apart. The all-new 2014 Lexus IS. It's your move.
Falcons and Jets are here in Atlanta on Monday for Monday Night Football, and the 6 trucks with a couple of support trucks as well, 35 cameras, 29 replay sources. Everything that comprises Monday Night Football is rolled in, getting ready for Monday night. Geno Smith and the Jets facing Matt Ryan, and the Falcons are 1-3 this season. Matt Ryan's been really bad in the red zone early on. See what he does against the Jets Monday night, with coverage beginning with Monday Night Countdown at 6:30. South Carolina State 2 punts on its opening 2 possessions, but 77 yards and a touchdown last drive to Merrick Hemingway, the tight end, with his first catch. Spun out of bounds by Travis Crosby after a few. Hemingway, good size, 6'5", 225. Got 4 of his 8 catches on the season last week as they try to get him more and more involved. On 2nd and 6, it's Justin Taylor, the Atlanta native, Kentucky transfer. Got off to a great start to this season, but then missed last week with an injury.
Yeah, and right now he's probably only 85 to 90%. But as you mentioned, and you see, he's from Atlanta, Georgia. They wanted to give him an opportunity to get some carries here in his hometown. He was the starting running back. Thus far, they've had to go to running back by committee because of the injury to Justin Taylor.
So 3rd down for South Carolina State. Q on time. Taylor out of the backfield, breaks a tackle and gets close to a 1st down. Olatoye made his 3rd tackle of the day, but Taylor with close to enough for a 1st down.
Good job coming out of the backfield. He has an option route on the linebacker. Nice throw by Q, and that's just effort by Taylor. And be close to see if he had enough yardage to get a 1st down.
Out of Atlanta North High School, and he did get it out for the 1st down. The guy that started his career at Kentucky. And the fact that Brown and Lewis Freeman have been so good in his place allows them to kind of ease him back in more than they would if they didn't have such a deep stable of running backs. Right back to him on 1st down. Gets a yard. Stop made by Brian Houston. It'll be 2nd down.
We know the teams want to force the run on 1st down, but I really feel you have to find ways to get the ball to Tyler McDonald. You see the numbers on Taylor, but McDonald's a playmaker. We saw today they can't cover him. And when you've got that type of talent, you find ways to force feed him the football. You've got him here in the slot. I'm going to find a way to get the ball in his hands.
Here's Taylor off of that zone read. And up from the secondary to shut the play down, Devontae Grant. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
What's really impressive with North Carolina A&T's run defense, they're doing it with 6 people in the box. They're not bringing in an 8th defender. Their front 4 and 2 linebackers are able to win the battle at the line of scrimmage to minimize the rushing attack for South Carolina State.
On 3rd down, Q with a slant that's broken up. Boy, Olatoye might have just saved the touchdown. Taquan West had nobody behind him on that slant route.
Man-to-man coverage on the top part of your screen. Olatoye doing a good job of reacting to the slant route that was thrown.
The transfer out of Colorado. And back to return this punt, Devontae Graham, MEAC's leading punt returner. And again, North Carolina A&T blocked a punt last week, blocked 2 against South Carolina State last year. Another pitiful punt, my goodness. Bouncing out of bounds at the 45. 12 yards on the punt from Nick Belcher. North Carolina A&T down 7-3 with a football when you come back.
All that a husband should.
Nick Belcher 3 punts today, averaging 17 yards a pop. And in a game that no doubt is going to be competitive and tight, Field position battle being won by North Carolina A&T. And here's Lewis Kendall into the secondary for an 18-yard run. Mario McFadden with a stop. His 4th tackle of the day. First down for the Aggies.
Quick decision by Kendall on the speed option, reading the in man on the line of scrimmage. When you've got somebody going to the running back, you tuck it, call your own number. Great choice by Lewis Kendall.
The 5th-year senior from right here in Atlanta, Westlake High School. First down from the 41. Lewis bounce into the outside, and now cutting it back. McFadden there once again for his 5th tackle. Marquise Parks as well. A lot of the big plays for this A&T offense this year have come on bouncing runs to the outside. South Carolina State has done a good job all year of avoiding those big plays.
McFadden knew that, and he's been around the ball. Great job of stalking the running back, not allowing Lewis to get to daylight on the outside.
Defensive coordinator Mike Adams for South Carolina State said the safeties would be the most important piece to this game, avoiding those big plays. Second down, speed option. Here comes Tariq Cohen. But Fannin on a stalk block outside was Joseph Spann. Mariel Cooper up to make the stop with a flag down.
Personal foul. Chop block. The 79 and number 66 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. Still second down.
Isles and Sunkins combining.
Yeah, that's the right side of the offensive line for North Carolina A&T. You'll see it here, number 66 and 79. You see them right there. The play's going away from them, so. I don't agree. They thought that somebody was holding them up high, but clearly that was just a one-on-one block, which they are allowed to do inside that tackle box.
The call is that you can't go low on an engaged player. He wasn't engaged. He was passing him off in his own blocking scheme. Second down and a quarter of the field. After showing blitz, Bulldogs back off and bring 4. Kendall steps up. It'll bounce to the outside. And cut down to the 46. Darius Drummond, the other safety, combining with McFadden. And it'll be third down and 15 for the Aggies.
This is where you have to understand your offensive philosophies. 3rd and 15. If they pick up more than 8 yards, they'll probably go for it on 4th down, considering what's happened with their punting game and the only net yards they've been able to accomplish. So as a quarterback, I'm thinking I don't have to force the ball downfield. Give it to a playmaker underneath if they give it to me, and allow maybe my running back or a shallow crossing route to break a tackle to pick up positive yards.
Kendall with time, zipping one right at the first down marker for Darren Bullock. They needed 15 and got 16 to the sophomore out of Durham and a first down.
Just attacking the weak spot of the defense. He's going to run right here. The ball's going to be thrown into the sweet spot of the cover 2. Once he clears the linebackers, put it on him. That's a small window to get the ball there. You see the ball's already in the air. Great throw and great recognition by Lewis Kendall.
To drive extended, first down at the 30. Downhill with only 5 in the box. Kendall bouncing outside. And Joe Thomas over to help Darius Drummond and Mariel Cooper make the tackle. And it'll be second down.
First time we've called Joe Thomas name today. He's the #1 linebacker for this squad. We've talked about the defensive line with Andrew Carter and Javon Hargrave, but Joe Thomas is a guy that next year will be playing in the National Football League. 6 feet, 230 pounds, 4'4", 4.5 time in the 40-yard dash. As an interior linebacker, that lets you know he can really motor.
Second down and 8. Here's Drake. In the arms of Curtis Hill. And it'll be third down. Hill has shared time with Marquise Parks. And this very deep defensive line, really the entire team deep this year. The biggest difference between last year's sub-500 team. Buddy Pugh telling us last year he would have to really work to find 60 to travel. Now he's got to work to cut it off at 70.
Traveling list is cut off at 70. They've got depth, and what a luxury to have for an FCS football program.
Just converted their first third down of the game. Now 3rd and 6. Pressure off of the edge. Got rid of it quickly, but low. And it's 4th down. Who's going for Joseph Spann once again. Tyler Smith in coverage. Why not go for it at this point?
I think you do, and that's one of the throws where for both these quarterbacks the motto is be good, don't be great. You don't have to be great. Make a simple throw. Throwing the ball from one hash mark all the way across the field, that's a tough throw. And if you're going to take that decision, you've got to be able to hit it every single time. You saw Kendall there skip the throw. Now he's bringing up 4th and 7, and the drive could stall because he did not take advantage of a 3rd down process, realizing they were probably going to go for it on 4th down.
4th and 6. Kendall thrown to the end zone. Broken up. Stephen Murphy with the coverage, but a flag comes in. Joseph Spann, the intended receiver. Let's see what the call is. Boy, that looked pretty clean.
I thought if anything it would have been offensive pass interference by Spann. He seemed to hold off Murphy so he can elevate and give himself the advantage on the jump ball.
Murphy's only given up 2 catches this year. Let's see what this call is.
Holding. Number 28 of the defense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So it came before the end of the play. They call holding on Stephen Murphy, and it extends this drive for North Carolina A&T.
Take a look at the end of the play, and I mean, there's nothing there at the end of the play. If it occurred before, okay, but that flag came out so late.
Penalties an issue for South Carolina State lately. Not normally the case, but 11 penalties for 130 yards last week. Dominic Drake dancing his way for a few on 1st down. Into the teeth of that defense, and it'll be 2nd down and 7.
I know the defensive coordinator Mike Adams has to be proud of the job that this South Carolina State defense is able to accomplish. I mean, they're experienced, they're physical. He knew that. And in terms of the running game, they are able to really get things done with just 6 or 7 guys in the box. Right now, taking it to the Aggies offensive line.
2nd down, back downhill, Drake with room, and he's in for the touchdown. Dominic Drake with a 13-yard score, and the Aggies back in front.
Just when you talk about the ability to dominate the line of scrimmage, what do? They bring in a fullback to help give him a little extra momentum to the end zone, and Dominic Drake does a good job of reading his blocks. But take a look here by the block by the fullback. That's big number Devin Moore, number 45. Devin Moore really gets up on the guy. Anytime you get a fullback that can block 2, that's getting it done. 2 red jerseys behind 1 ball carrier.
And the injured player is Curtis Hill, redshirt junior nose for South Carolina State. He started all 11 games last year and has shared time with Marquise Parks this year. 10 plays, 60-yard drive that results in the first A&T touchdown in 2 halves. They didn't score in the 2nd half last week against Howard.
They finally got on the board with some help. I mean, I'm still questioning that holding call on the flag that really kept them going. North Carolina A&T was able to pick up a 1st down when they went for it on 4th down. That kind of took out some of the air of the bubble for South Carolina State defensively. And give credit to the Aggies. They made them pay by taking the turnover, taking the penalty, and putting the touchdown on the board.
Third rushing score of the year for the fifth-year senior. And North Carolina A&T taking advantage and jumping back in front. Jose Garcia Camacho to attempt the extra point out of the hold of the punter, Dominic Frescura. The issue for North Carolina A&T offensively has been consistency. Game 1 pretty good against App State. Game 2 they were not good. Last week inconsistent. Scored 4 touchdowns in the first half, but were shut out in the second. And they finally get in the end zone here in the second quarter, lead 10-7.
Cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Who's back from an knee injury that cut last season short, finds the end zone and has North Carolina A&T in front 10-7. Ron Broadway's team trying to get back-to-back wins over South Carolina State. And trying to get off to their first 4-0 start since 1996. And their first 4-0 start against exclusively FCS competition in program history. Austin Smith has that one go over his head and out of the back of the end zone. Obviously a great honor for these two programs to get to play in this 25th Atlanta Classic. 71,000 seats in the Georgia Dome. They don't come from bad facilities, but just much different when you look at capacity.
I mean, normally when you see FCS stadiums around the country, 30,000 and below is the norm. You have some exceptions to the rule, but having the opportunity to play in this venue where the pros use it, I mean, I still look at the Georgia Dome. This is Deion Sanders' house. Isn't this the house that he built? But what an experience, and we like it. We're enjoying it as well. The nice facilities here, and it's always good to have that experience once in a lifetime that you played in an NFL stadium.
Of course, Falcons will host the Jets on Monday Night Football in this same building. Caleb Davis goes in motion, and then Justin Taylor gets the handoff, and Adeji Olatoye makes already his 4th tackle from his corner spot. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. You surprised to see Taylor as much as we're seeing it?
I am. I mean, he's at home. I know they want to get him going, but I really thought that Dondre Brown, the freshman, would be the one that could get it done. He's a bigger load. He's fresher, but he got banged up at the end of the game versus Hampton. I wonder if that's carried on to this week.
And right back to Taylor, who's got a couple of blockers in front, but a nice job by the defenders to shed those blocks and give the rest of the defense time to rally. Clodfelter and Grant there for the tackle, and 3rd and 6.
Football's being played at a high level down there on the field defensively. These offenses aren't that bad. It's just that they're going against very good defenses. Michael Neal from the inside, very active motor. And I keep saying it, I'd find McDonald, number 2, your slot receiver, standing right on the hash. Make them take him away from you.
They showed blitz over him and then back off. They come to Caleb Davis, and a heck of a job by Olatoye to shut down the screen. Devontae Grant had ripped it out, but after the whistle, and it's 4th down, so the punt team comes out.
That was a great individual effort by Olatoye. He was the only person for North Carolina A&T that sniffed out the wide receiver screen, held on to the wide receiver, not allowing him to get a free release. Watch this matchup here. He recognized what they're doing. He's not going to let him go. The moment the ball snapped, he said, I've seen this before. Oh, no, you're not going anywhere. Stick right here with them. You don't play it any better than that, Mr. Davis.
Been an adventure, Mr. Walker, on the punts so far for South Carolina State. Nick Belcher averaging 17 yards on 3 punts today. This is a better one. That's got to feel good for him. Takes a good bounce. Out of bounds to the 30 on a 45-yard effort from Belcher. A&T with a field goal lead, and with the football when you come back.
The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. 13 institutions, all playing to win with dignity on and off the field. Sportsmanship.
South Carolina State trying to win its 4th straight. North Carolina A&T trying to start 4-0. and tied at the top of the MEAC standings entering this month of October. When Jay Walker, Joe Davis back at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, and Lewis Kendall with his offense back to work. First touchdown drive their last time out. And Kendall fakes inside, gets it out to Lawrence, and an important open field tackle from Mariel Cooper.
Oh yeah. You start looking anytime you get below the 5-minute mark in a black college football game, they start to empty the stands a little bit. The bands are warming up.
The crowd will be at its largest during halftime. Dominic Drake just had that touchdown run with a strong run to the 39, and it'll be 3rd down and 2. Andrew Carter with a tackle.
And this is a time where normally you talk about a 4-minute offense going becoming relevant at the end of a football game. For North Carolina A&T, this is 4-minute offense time right here. If you can methodically march the ball down the field, give yourself a chance at either a field goal attempt or a touchdown to end the half, that can really turn momentum.
Aggies just 1 of 6 on 3rd down. Kendall rolling, looking for space, throwing one out of bounds, and it's 4th down. South Carolina State's defense has been excellent on 3rd down today, and really been good, period. They've been put in bad spots field position wise.
Stepping up. If you can win the battle 3rd down, you can get it done. And watch the job by Tyler Smith, number 33. He's going to come from the right side of your screen out the frame now. He's going to blow up the lead blocker. Tyler Smith just absolutely pummeled Dominic Drake, then was able to get to the quarterback as well and force Kendall to throw the ball out of bounds.
Redshirt freshman, the D coordinator Mike Adams says might be the toughest kid on the defense already. Frescura to punt it away to Stephen Murphy. "35-yard punt." Murphy dropped down right there. Jay wants it, give me 5.
Time for the power rankings, 1 through 5 on the bubble. Alabama State, I've seen them with my own eyes. I know they're really good. They've got to start winning. They're starting to do that. Jackson State, Coach Comedy, very good football team. South Carolina State, you're watching them right now. If they're number 4, who's got to be number 3? North Carolina A&T, so one of them is going to keep a spot. Number 2's Big Blue, Tennessee State, even though they're starting to get in the middle of their OVC schedule. And the number 1 team is getting repetitive, Joe.
Yeah.
Say it.
Bethune-Cookman, it's been there. I've done this 2 years with you now. I'm not sure they've moved.
They're consistently at the top, the pride of HBCU football thus far.
On 1st down, Q's throw is low, but pulled in. That's to Merrick Hemingway, the tight end, with his 2nd catch. And it'll be 2nd down and 3.
And here's why Bethune-Cookman's so important. North Carolina A&T does not face Bethune-Cookman this year. If they can win this game, great chance they can go undefeated. Easier path to going undefeated. South Carolina State's going to take on Bethune-Cookman October 26th. Look out.
There's Brown getting close to a 1st down. Buddy Pugh said that this game, because of that, more important for them than it is for A&T.
Yes, it is. I mean, South Carolina State has to have it because you're facing Bethune-Cookman. If you're A&T, I think the next toughest game they have on their schedule will be Central, which is a rivalry within itself.
Inside of 2 minutes left in this 1st half. Q fakes. To Merrick Hemingway with a tremendous one-handed catch and then stepped out of bounds after 2 yards. Travis Crosby was right there in coverage. And 2nd down and 8 coming up. The South Carolina State offense leading the MEAC 31 points a game, held to just 1 touchdown in this 1st half by A&T. Q on time, will swing it out of the backfield. The Brown in stride, cut down by Grant, close to a 1st down. 5th tackle of the game already for the guy that has led this team in tackles each of the last 2 years.
From his weak side linebacker position, number 4, Devontae Grant. You'll see him right here on your screen. And once the ball's thrown, open field tackle, make sure you run through the tackle, bringing down Dondre Brown.
A minute 41. A minute 41. as Q throws off of that quick game and has Taquan West for another first down to the 45. Olatoye was in coverage and pushed him out for his 6th stop.
And South Carolina State has found something by going with the 3 wide receiver look to one side. See, when they go with the 3 wide receivers right here, this really frees them up. They're getting a very vanilla look, one-on-one at the top of your screen with the modified zone on the bottom half. They like those matchups.
Q pumps and goes down the sideline for West, defended by Olatoye. Crowd wanted a flag, won't get it. 2nd down. Taquan West, a 6'4", 210-pound sophomore out of Lexington, Kentucky, that the staff is really excited about. You can see why with that size.
Quest is a guy, they love the size, a little bit more foot speed than another receiver they've got in Dennis Rose, so they're really trying to force him the football.
Q slips one to McDonald in space. And Tyler McDonald's got a first down to the 23 on a pickup of 22.
Well, North Carolina inside linebacker Tony Clodfelter, number 57, he's got to make this interception. He's on it. He's reading the quarterback's eyes, but he turned for 1 second to locate McDonald and actually missed the ball going right by his helmet.
Q has time, zipping one. Davis climbs the ladder for close to another South Carolina State first down. Grant and Crosby combined to the tackle. It is enough for a Bulldog first down, and this ground-based offense suddenly getting it moving, throwing the football.
They're showing it. They're going to the 3-step or the quick strike passing game, really relying on Richard Q to get the most out of his pre-snap reads, pick a soft spot in the Aggie defense, and deliver strikes.
Pressure coming. Q gets rid of it into the vacated area for Davis. Touchdown, South Carolina State.
Get the ball to Caleb Davis coming across the formation. Gets by Travis Crosby. Knows where the goal line is. Great effort to get in to give the Bulldogs the lead.
13 yards for the 5th-year senior and his 3rd touchdown of the season. What a drive for South Carolina State. And it's 5th-year senior to 5th-year senior, putting the Bulldogs back in front.
And this is what you want when they're going to bring the pressure with the 2 linebackers coming. That's the vacated area. The sweet spot is right behind that wall of white jerseys. If you don't get to them, you've got to make an open field tackle. Travis Crosby misses the tackle. Caleb Davis makes him pay. He was not going to be denied that touchdown reception. Davis is a guy that really emerged 2 seasons ago when he was called into the starting duty to replace a wide receiver that had some academic difficulties, and they didn't know he was that good. But in the absence of Elmore, he really stepped up and became a go-to wide receiver. Now with the complement of Caleb Davis and Tyler McDonald, pretty explosive 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position for the Bulldogs.
Q went 7 of 8 on that drive against this A&T defense. Last year led the nation in pass defense. Right now through 3 games, 100.
Wow. Very, very un-Rod Broadway-like coach team there.
And that's with 4 starters back in that secondary.
And the key for A&T is, you know, those numbers don't have the full story. They've been ahead in most of their football games, and teams are just throwing the ball, and they were allowing them to complete a number of short passes, just not giving up touchdown throws. But so far in this game, we've seen them give up a touchdown throw as well as a rushing touchdown. South Carolina State has the Aggies defense on the ropes.
Q, who completes a little more than 50% of his passes on the year, 15 of 19 tonight so far against North Carolina A&T. As Jermaine Clark, one of the up men, getting a moment of glory, bringing that one back on national TV. At 43 seconds here for Lewis Kindle in this offense to try and match that drive from South Carolina State. Kindle today just 4 of 9 for 43 yards. Ron Broadway's team, just like South Carolina State, ground-oriented offensively. See what they can do through the air with all 3 timeouts. They roll Kindle. He throws on time off of the hands of Lawrence with Hughes bearing down. Beg your pardon, Smith was on him, and it's 2nd and 10.
This South Carolina State defense continues to attack. They're flying around the football. You're starting to see them play with the added sense of enthusiasm. The linebackers, Joe Thompson, Tyler Smith, really getting involved in the passing game.
Play clock winds inside of 10. On 2nd and 10, 8 drop into coverage. Carter bull rush to collapse the pocket. Kindle will tuck it and go down. Justin Hughes with his 2nd sack of the season.
We talked about the linebackers becoming active. We mentioned Tyler Smith and Joe Thomas. Well, the middle linebacker is Justin Hughes. How about this mobility for your inside linebacker, able to track down a quarterback, bring him down for the loss.
And they'll let that run the clock down to finish this half. North Carolina A&T led for much of that first half, but South Carolina State putting together a drive, throwing the football to take the lead into halftime. Bulldogs looking for their 4th consecutive win in this bounce back year and trying to snap North Carolina A&T's 3-0 start. It's 14-10 at halftime here in Atlanta. Prime time presented by McDonald's, and on to the second half here in the Georgia Dome. A good one going between 2 of the top teams in the MEAC. 14-10 South Carolina State, as we look at today's Bringing the Flavor, brought to you by McDonald's. Great work by our tape room. Always fantastic work by our crew. As Ron Broadway's team gets ready to come out for this second half. Down by 4 after South Carolina State put together that great drive. But the defense was the story during that first half.
Well, that was a story coming into the game, and it played out in the first half. Defense played at a very high level. These are aggressive defenses. Anytime you see 19 plays for 0 yards for less, it means the battle in the trenches is intense. Both teams have really showed up and played well. Rushing yards have been almost impossible to come by, and it's what we expected.
These are 2 of the top defenses nationally. North Carolina A&T, each of the last 2 seasons, has been top 10. South Carolina State coming into this game, that 3-game winning streak, that corresponds with a stretch defensively where they had given up just 1 touchdown.
I mean, and when you talk about those numbers, you go to the numbers, you say, well, whoever's running the ball the best should win this football game. Well, North Carolina A&T is averaging a little bit less than 3 yards per rush. South Carolina State is averaging only 1.1 yards per rushing attempt, yet they hold on to a 4-point lead at halftime.
They deferred to the second half, so they'll have the ball with that 4-point lead to begin the second half. It'll be Jose Garcia Camacho to send it away for North Carolina A&T. And Austin Smith, the deep man for South Carolina State. 2 teams with conference title aspirations in this early season MEAC game. Might be early in the season, but so important in this conference race. Should be a heck of a second half from Atlanta. Austin Smith on the move from the 8. Smith trying to bounce, but can't. And dropped down to the 10-yard line. Bryson McCall with a tackle, and here comes South Carolina State's offense, which we told you off at the top is a ground-based, run-heavy offense. But in that first half, nothing running the football like you mentioned. They got it done through the air.
Richard Q, if he can play at that level, that's efficient. Not wowing you with the number of yards, but 15 of 19 with a touchdown throw, has not thrown an interception. If he can play like that for the remainder of the season, Bulldogs are going to be very difficult to beat.
Came into the game, Jay, 52% on the season. They started the game with a sweep to Caleb Davis. They start the second half with the same. This time, North Carolina A&T is all over it. And Travis Crosby with his team-leading 7th tackle. No gain, 2nd and 10.
And when you've got a team that have two very well-coached teams, I normally judge coaches by their strategy going into the game and the halftime adjustments. And when you got Rob Broadway and Coach Buddy Pugh on the other sideline, both of these teams are going to make some adjustments. They're going to find a way to manufacture some more offense.
Q on time, but low for West, who was open down the sideline. Crosby was bearing down in coverage, and an early 3rd down and long for Richard Q and the Bulldogs.
And this is the situation, if you're South Carolina State, you don't want to put Richard Q in. You saw the numbers 15 and 19. That was when he had completions on 1st and 2nd down. 3rd and long, not their specialty.
They empty it out. The A&T defense spreads out to cover it. 8 drop into coverage. Q looking through tight windows, sails the throw, is going for Caleb Davis, who was not open. Travis Crosby right over the top, and a 3-and-out forced by this A&T defense to start the second half.
Not a good sign for South Carolina State. Pugh looked great in the first half, looked very iffy, to say the least. Those previous 2 plays, wide open receiver, threw it high, missed the read. That's the Richard Q that cannot afford to show up for South Carolina State in the second half.
Now, Nick Belcher in that first half, granted, trying to keep it away from the top punt returner in the MEAC and Devontae Graham, but averaged 24 yards a pop on 4 chances in that opening half. Line drive kick that'll give Graham a chance. Picks up 1 block. Runs past another defender and gets tripped off in South Carolina State territory. Boy, Shaquan Brock brought him down. There was a lot of room in front if Brock couldn't stop him. North Carolina A&T back on offense. Excellent field position. Same way they began the first half when Desmond Lawrence brought back the opening kickoff to the 40. It's been a story of missed chances for A&T in that first half.
Able to run the football a little bit, 81 yards. You'll take that. You got to wear him down. But 4 of 11 in the passing games for 43 yards. That's invisible passing, not making a dent at all in the secondary for South Carolina State. They have to improve upon those numbers.
About a 2-to-1 run to pass ratio during that first half. That's how they've been much of the season. First drive of the second half from the 47, and Dominic Drake, who had a rushing touchdown in that first half, gets 5 behind the lead block of Devin Moore. And Drake now 30 yards on 8 carries.
Take a look at the fullback. Anytime you see Devin Moore in the backfield, they like to follow him as a lead blocker, see if he can initiate some contact.
They toss outside. Moore had that block to knock down Smith. And give a little bit of room to Drake to set up a manageable 3rd down.
This is the scouting report. What they've done with Devin Moore, consecutive plays. When he's in the game at fullback, they're attacking him. Watch them take the legs from underneath Devin Moore. He's looking for somebody to hit. They're going down on him. 2 plays in a row. They're like, we're going to take you out and then go up and make the tackle. That's a little subtle adjustment that we've seen South Carolina State make here in the second half.
Now, Mike Adams, D coordinator, told us Devin Moore, the guy that everything runs through on that offense. Play action on 3rd and short. Kindle's pressured. Makes a cut, and he'll get a 1st down. Tremendous run by Lewis Kindle before Justin Hughes makes the tackle. He gets 4 yards and a 1st down.
This is the football play right here. They've got it sniffed out because when Devin Moore's in the game, they're going to give him attention. You're going to see 2 bodies on Devin Moore. Then he's going to decide, I can't get it. Time to make a football play. He sees it, 3 red jerseys going in the sideline, changes directions, then takes 1 cut upfield. That's a football play there by Lewis Kindle.
Fifth-year senior making a homecoming. He backed up Cam Newton before he took the starting job at Atlanta's Westlake High School. Now the fifth-year senior in his third year is one of the starters for this offense.
45 seconds.
We set the clock to 12:45.
Well, drumline action.
Yeah. Both these teams ground-based offenses, but both with good defenses, shutting them down today. Ricky Lewis probing for space and getting 5 or 6 on first down. Justin Hughes with his 5th stop of the day for South Carolina State. 2nd and 5. Play. Drake leads the way. Lewis on the edge. Mason Harris up from his corner spot to bang him down, and it'll be 3rd and short.
Anytime they can make it 3rd and 2 to 3 yards, that's what Rob Broadway wants. That's what offensive coordinator Ricky Bussell wants to put them in that position, because you give them the option of saying that we've got 2 downs to get a first down. They had success running from the pistol, going away from the I formation. Would not be surprised when you've got a quarterback that's missed some easy throws if you see him decide to run the football here again with another option type of run.
A&T just 2 of 8 on 3rd down so far today. One of the worst 3rd down teams in the country so far this season. Lewis again bounced off initial contact, and Joe Thomas cleaned it up. Short of the first down. It'll be 4th down and 1.
Kind of thought he got a bad spot. It looked like his initial lunge was a little bit closer. See where they mark him down. He does a good job of leaving his feet. With about a yard to go, but they did what they wanted to do. They picked up enough yards where they can consider going for it on 4th down.
Power set on 4th down and 1. It's Moore leading the way for Drake, who's short. South Carolina State slams the door. Joe Thomas stuck his nose in, and A&T turns it over on downs on their opening possession of the 2nd half. Drake had no room. The nation's leader in solo tackles stuck his nose in, and South Carolina State will try to take advantage on the other side. South Carolina State with a 14-10 lead and a stop on 4th down as North Carolina A&T tried to get the 2 yards but couldn't.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happens here. The fullback, Devin Lewis, who's had a great game, misses the seal block on the inside linebacker, Joe Thomas. He elects to go up and hit the safety instead of the linebacker in the hole. All they needed was a yard. They would have gotten the first down plus some. That's a mental error by Devin Moore, hitting the wrong man.
Andre Lewis Freeman with the first touch of this drive for South Carolina State. Travis Crosby there on the stop. There's Devin Moore, who's been really good today, but just missed a man on that 4th down play. Credit to Thomas, too, for playing low, hiding in that interior. Two plays, 2 handoffs to Lewis Freeman. Some space this time. Stopped short of the first down. Travis Crosby did a great job to shed the block and get his 9th tackle of the day, sending up 3rd and short.
And when your defense is playing as well as they are, if you're Richard Q at quarterback, the key is you have to avoid the turnover. Protect the football. He has to manage the game right now. Anytime you have the ball backed up on your side of the field, protecting the football, ball security becomes a premium. Don't force a throw that's not there.
Lewis Freeman hit at the line of scrimmage and drop. Once again, the run defense comes up big. Brian Houston, the backup middle linebacker, was the first to hit him, and it'll be 4th down and 1.
I've just never seen a defensive line that doesn't have anybody over 300 pounds. The middle linebacker goes 230 pounds, and the rest of their outside linebackers are 208 pounds. Play the run as stout and as physically as North Carolina A&T. Very well coached. They don't miss a step. No wasted motion. I mean, you're supposed to lose.
How much of that is scheme?
Schematically, and they're always moving, and they're keeping their shoulder pad level always in the right position. Very well coached. I mean, in situations when you outweigh somebody by 40+ pounds per player on the line, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, you should win that battle. South Carolina State yet to win those battles regularly.
Timeout taken by Buddy Pugh. First of the half for South Carolina State. We'll head to North Carolina Central on Thursday at 7:30 Eastern. As ESPN News coverage of college football continues with college football presented by McDonald's. Thursday, 7:30 on ESPNU, live on Watch ESPN. That's a North Carolina Central program that has turned around recently. Central.
Are you kidding me, man? The Bison, you're not supposed to lose at home. I mean, Howard, one thing they do is win at home, but I'll say this for North Carolina Central. I talked to those coaches, and during the offseason, they said, you can rave about South Carolina State and Bethune-Cookman all you want. We've got a good football team. They beat University of North Carolina Charlotte this year, and going up to Washington, D.C., knocking off the Bison, let me know that they weren't just feeding me some stuff during the offseason. They're a pretty good program. That's going to be a good game on Thursday.
4th down in the yard. Punt team is out there. And Nick Belcher gets it off. This is only a 30-yard punt. A fair catch made at the 32-yard line by Tariq Cohen. So North Carolina A&T's defense slams the door. The offense comes back out down a score midway through the 3rd.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood.
ESPNU College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And Joseph A. Bank. We fit most everyone. JOSbank.com.
Downtown Atlanta, Georgia, established in 1837 at the intersection of a couple of railroad lines. North Carolina A&T back on offense. Tariq Cohen with a cut, and the freshman explodes into South Carolina State territory. He had 4 carries for 12 yards during the first half. His first touch of the second goes for 33.
If they weren't able to run versus this look, they couldn't run at all. When you've only got 6 red jerseys in the box, if you can't run against 6, you're in trouble. He eyes up Joe Thomas, makes a move to the outside. Big gain for the young freshman.
From the 33, Kendall pulls it out of the gut of Cohen. And is thrown down by McFadden after a few. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
And they had the same look on that previous play on 1st down. This time only 5 in the box. Kendall chooses to pull the ball out of the stomach of Cohen and picks up 1 or 2 yards when, had he allowed Cohen to run the ball, there was a hole there. They had the numbers advantage.
5 in the box again on 2nd and 7.
You have to run the football here.
And they do with the outside zone play. But again, that kind of defeats the purpose of what you're talking about. 5 in the box and they run outside.
And they run outside, but what you can do as a quarterback is give them the ball quicker. Get rid of your read. What are you reading? Give him the ball right away. Watch him ride him too far. Give it to him. Right now, you're forcing him to go outside as a quarterback if you keep shuffling your feet. When you see that, stop, keep the ball in the stomach. He can make a cut and get north and south and pick up positive yards instead of having to run east and west.
Late subs from the Bulldogs, but A&T in no hurry for this 3rd and 3 play. Cohen has room for a 1st down. Darius Drummond made the tackle, but Tariq Cohen, the true freshman out of Bunn, North Carolina, providing a spark.
A little bit quicker, but I like to see you get rid of it right now. You know, sometimes you can overthink as a quarterback. 3rd and 2 or 3, they're calling that. Hand the ball off, let them do the traditional run, not have to worry about getting a nice clean handoff exchange. But they've got to be careful what South Carolina State is doing now. They're giving them that 5-man box and they're baiting somebody off the end of the line of scrimmage.
Kendall off play action. will roll out and extend the play. Looking back over the middle, dangerously incomplete. He was going for Cohen. It was defended by McFadden. Second down and 10. You hate that throw, right?
Don't like it. I mean, it's first down. You're rolling to your right and you're throwing across your body and you don't complete it. It's first down. Pick up 3 yards. Pick up 3 yards. That's all they want you to do. Instead, you try and make the throw across your body, which was almost intercepted.
First throw of this half for North Carolina A&T after 11 consecutive runs. Second down and 10. Aggies trying to take their first lead of the second half. Speed option. Dominique Drake got a block from Brown and hurdle a man to get 9. It'll be third down and 1 as Dominique Drake used the Demonte Brown block to set up a third manageable.
This is how you run the football. Get rid of the football. Now watch Dominique Drake set up the blockers, get there, then upsy daisy. I'm not the biggest fan of going airborne, but in that case there, he picked up a couple of extra yards doing that. I'm telling you, bodies are flying around down there on the field. As a former quarterback, I like to see the ball being distributed airborne, but I'm having fun. It's a pleasure to watch these defenses attack each other in the running game.
Third and short. Can the Bulldogs shove the door shut again? Boy, to go misdirection for Ricky Lewis. Touchdown Aggies. First of the season for the senior, and North Carolina A&T jumps back in front.
Misdirection. Everybody's thinking that the play's going to the right. Ends up going to the left, and it becomes a foot race to the edge. Ricky Lewis, the senior, getting the job done. I love the play call there.
Yeah, time and time again, you've gone right up the gut. Time and time again, gotten shut down trying to do it.
And realizing how aggressive South Carolina State is, North Carolina A&T able to take advantage of it. Ricky Lewis, 13-yard touchdown scamper. North Carolina A&T's on top.
It's a must-win for Matt Ryan and the Falcons.
Ricky Lewis has played all over the place in his 4 seasons at A&T. Has a touchdown run from 13 yards off a misdirection play to put the Aggies in front for the first time in the second half. Two teams of conference title aspirations meeting in this early season showdown. A&T trying to get the 4-0 for the first time since '96, and South Carolina State trying to win its 4th straight. That one bounces out of bounds. I don't care who's back there returning. That puts the ball at the 35. ESPNU's coverage of women's college soccer continues Sunday with an SEC conference battle when the Gamecocks visit the Volunteers. ESPNU's women's college soccer. Number 19, South Carolina takes on Tennessee tomorrow at 3 o'clock on ESPNU and on Watch ESPN.
Kick out of bounds. Kick continues. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
A little bit closer. I think the first time he labeled it an offsides.
Getting it right, but either way, can't afford to do it. I mean, we've seen both teams do it in this type of football game. And the field goal decided, field position will become crucial when you take it on 2 aggressive, fundamentally sound defenses.
Bulldogs have been unable to run the football. They go to Taylor, who is seeing his first live action this week. You didn't see any contact during the week because of the injury. That's his 6th carry, and now just about 10 yards for him. But trying to find somebody to give him a spark with the ground game. 22 carries total, 29 yards for South Carolina State. Right back to him on second down. And this undersized but physical defense right there again, 3rd and 4.
I mean, they are, an old coach used to say, they're throwing leather. And we used to always say, Coach, they don't wear leather anymore, but they're throwing shoulder pads around there.
Even back when you were playing.
Even back when I played, Joe. I mean, the offensive linemen are getting on the blocks. Linebackers are finishing off tackles. This is a football game in the trenches.
3rd down and 4. Q down the seam, had a man, but it's 4th down. Tyler McDonald had broken free of Travis Crosby, but Q, who was so good in the first half, off to begin the second half.
This is what you want. You're going to have McDonald in the seam. You got 2 linebackers blitzing, free safety neutralized in the middle. Q doesn't get hit. Make that throw. Step into it. That's what you need right there. I mean, if they're going to blitz, you recognize it. Your line protects you long enough. You've got the perfect play selected. Oh, I feel for you.
Tyler McDonald, who averages 31.5 yards a catch, was going to boost that average had that ball been on the money.
Yeah. And you need to keep throwing the ball to him. I mean, I think when he's on the field, he's the best playmaker they've got.
Belcher's best punt of the day by far. Fair catch taken by Graham at the 14. So you look at our Sheridan Broadcasting Network HBCU top 10.
See, I know A&T's undefeated. Tennessee State has 1 loss on the year. You know they lost to?
No.
Bethune-Cookman by 3 points. Now, A&T's good, and they got some signature wins. Winston-Salem State's a good one, but the problem I kind of have with Winston-Salem being number 4, they're a Division II program, and when they were in the MEAC, they got hammered, you know, right, on a regular. So it's tough for me to do that. Prairie View's got some offense. They're moving up the charts, and I'm going to tell you, Florida A&M, something not right in Tallahassee. Damian Fleming, their quarterback, is too good. They lost today, so they've got 1 win on the season.
15th play of the second half for North Carolina A&T. Only the second pass play. Kendall gets spun down by a blitzing Darius Drummond from his safety spot. All the way back at the 5-yard line.
We mentioned that they're good and they're aggressive, but they're fundamentally sound. Darius Drummond takes the right angle of pursuit, not allowing Kendall to get outside of him. He's responsible for outside divider. Keep everything in your vision. Shoelace tackle. Fundamentally sound. Good job by Darius Drummond.
Out of Asheville, North Carolina, who's bounced back and forth between safety and corner in his career. Lost 9 there, 2nd and 19, and back to the ground. Nothing doing. More of the same for North Carolina A&T against this stout South Carolina State defense. Reggie Owens picks up the tackle. And 3rd and long for the Aggies. Field position battle. Finally, South Carolina State gets a good punt. And as a result, here in a position to get the ball back with great field position.
And I would be surprised if North Carolina A&T decided to test South Carolina State vertically right now in the passing game. They're either going to run the football, call a screen, some type of quick throw. I don't think they're going to jeopardize a turnover.
Kendall to throw out of his own end zone. Down the middle. Incomplete. Wanted Kevin Francis, converted receiver playing tight end who doesn't have a catch this year. Darius Drummond had blanketed him, and it's 4th down.
Surprise. I'm surprised that Coach Broadway allowed the offensive coordinator Bustle to open up the playbook. There were 2 red jerseys deep covering the wide receiver.
And so the freshman out of South Pasadena, California, Dominic Frescura, the punt out of his own end zone. Stephen Murphy waiting back at the 45. High snap is pulled down, but it's blocked. Darius Drummond, who had the sack to move him back to the 5, blocks it out of the end zone, and South Carolina State's within a point.
Two things really threw this off. It was a high snap, which threw off the timing. Anytime your punter has to leave his feet, that throws off the timing. But then you're going to see Drummond just with an aggressive angle coming on the inside. They just don't account for him, and he makes them pay. And they should have seen that, because we mentioned earlier, South Carolina State special teams have been pretty good this season. North Carolina A&T, that's 2 consecutive games now they've had a punt block.
You said it earlier, special teams in a game where you've got 2 teams that are so similar, good defensively, run the football. Special teams can be that wild card that decides things.
Making those plays, and South Carolina State has been able to overcome some of their ineffectiveness in special teams, particularly in the punts. The defense was good enough to hold on to a lead, and now coming up with a big punt right now when the team's down by 3. Safety making it a 1-point ball game. They've got to fix that. North Carolina A&T consecutive weeks of having punts blocked. They're fortunate to still be undefeated, but normally when you have those type of plays, big plays in football games, they end up costing you. Coach Broadway hoping it doesn't catch up to him in this football game.
So with the free kick, Frescura will punt it. With the issues Jose Garcia Camacho's had kicking it, no question what they'll do. And Austin Smith stands at the 30-yard line, ready to return this. It's going to be some great field position for the Bulldogs. Within a point after the block punt, safety. Good punt here for Frescura. It's Smith from the 30. Smith has room to the outside, but a good job to bounce outside and hem him in by Tony McCray. Return of 12 yards and a first down at the 42 for South Carolina State. The defense has been good. Some phases of the special teams have been good for South Carolina State. But the Bulldogs trying to get something going offensively.
I think offensively it's going to come down to the best player on the football field. It's Tyler McDonald. You know, come out, give him some throws. They haven't shown the ability to cover him one-on-one. They line him up in the slot. He's either got a linebacker or a safety covering. I'd get him the football.
Caleb Davis comes in motion. Twice they've given it to him off of that motion. Instead, it's Taylor into the arms of James Morris. One of the guys that Ron Broadway said would need to be extra good today against that ground game for South Carolina State. And boy, have they ever stepped up.
James Morris, defensive tackle, 275 pounds. Michael Neal, defensive tackle, 264 pounds. You try and run the ball in the middle, they stuff you every time. They've got motors.
Play action. Q's got one-on-one. Will go underneath to McDonald. Martin got there. Looked like early, but no flag, and it's third down. Boy, it looked like he had Taquan West running deep open.
Trying to get him on the crossing route now. Where's the window? Is he open now? I think you've got to squeeze it in there. That's a pretty good beat on the ball by Isaiah Martin. The free safety coming up, disrupting the pass.
So third down and 10. Aggies drop 8. Q has time, and then his drop. A flag comes in as James Morris brought him down. And Morris looks guilty.
Personal foul. Face smash. Number 77 in the defense. Automatic first down.
Remember that call as this game goes on.
Well, I mean, good job. He's going to make the sack, but he does have the helmet, brings him down. And if you touch that quarterback anywhere inappropriately, they're going to throw the flag. And that's a tough one there. When you dial up the right defense, you get the penetration that you want. But yet, penalty on the sack.
So it extends the drive, and it would have been fourth down. Taylor to the short side. Good blocking in front for a first down gain of 6. Devontae Grant with a stop. It'll be second down and 4. Taylor, the transfer from Kentucky. Leading rusher for this team now. Gets it again. Same play to the short side. But pulled down shy of the first down by Brian Houston, making it 3rd and 3.
A little bit of a hurry-up offense. South Carolina State trying to increase the tempo. Thought they had a look from the Aggies, but not able to pick up much yardage.
Q fakes it. Has time and now takes off. First down, South Carolina State to the 32. Grant Olatoye with a stop. But with the coverage downfield, Q tucks it and gets it.
Dropping back, if you don't see the look that you thought you were going to get, trying to run a rub play on the left side, it wasn't there. Realizing down in distance, only needed a couple of yards, calls his own number. Great game management by Richard Q.
Lewis Freeman on first down. Between the tackles for a short gain. Malik Hampton-Prelo, senior defensive end out of Hollywood, Florida, makes his second tackle of the day. Marquise Ragland in there as well. Lewis Freeman, the MEAC Offensive Player of the Week, was taking a bit of a backseat to Taylor in the second half. On 2nd and 10. Q scans the field, launches one deep. Miscommunication between he and Davis, and it's 3rd and 10. Who was right?
But he should have gone where he originally wanted to with the football. If they call a quick strike passing game for you, you can't look at the left side of the field and come all the way back across the field to the right. Q trying to do a little bit too much with his reads. Fortunate that ball wasn't intercepted.
That's a book on him. Joseph Blackwell, the offensive coordinator in his first season. So that was one of the first discussions he had when he got here. You don't need to try and take the team on your back and win the game yourself. On 3rd and 10 out of an empty set. A&T brings pressure. Q off his back foot. Misses McDonald, who was open again, and it's 4th down. Had him right away, threw it late.
The pressure was coming on him, and that was a play where they designed it. You get a certain look. They brought somebody in motion as a distraction on the right side, but pressure will make you do this. See, they get the look they want. You can tell right away when they come in motion, but just not able to stay in there long enough to hold on to it to make a more accurate throw.
So they'll try the field goal. And remember, the holder here is Richard Q, so A&T will be aware of the fake possibility. This from 39, it'd be a career long for Belcher. It's hooking through with plenty of distance, and South Carolina State's in the lead. Been a rough day for Belcher punting, but that's all forgotten with a career-long 49-yarder.
Just enough inside, had plenty of leg on it. It's all forgiven once you start putting points on the board. Look how close this was. I mean, you talk about just inside the left upright.
Jay, it's time for you to give me 5 again.
I'm gonna mix it up this time, Joe. We're gonna get it started. The top 5 HBCU rivalry games. Jackson State, Tennessee State. They play a good one in Memphis every year. It's a good one. You're watching number 5 right now. These two long-term good programs in the MEAC. North Carolina A&T versus South Carolina State. Number 4, here you go. Howard versus, doesn't matter. We're Howard. Everybody hates Howard. You could say Hampton. You could say Florida A&M. You could say A&T. It's Howard. Number 3, Alabama State, Alabama A&M. We're going there, Joe. They call that the
Magic City Classic.
There you go, Joe. Number 2, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, long-term rivals, and the number 1 rivalry in all of black college football. Got to pay homage. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Grambling versus Southern, the Bayou Classic. That's like a state holiday for a week in the state of Louisiana.
Right.
Down there. Those are my top 5.
Howard still.
Howard versus everybody. Everybody hates Howard. Still. Okay. I mean, because your rivals with A&T, they're the rival with Hampton, which is new. The battle for the real HU.
Back of a kick here. And bringing it out is Tony McCray. McCray runs into his own man at the 14. Probably not the right decision for a guy who took one back 91 yards for the Bulldogs' first score of the year. Aggies back on offense here at the 14-yard line.
The marching 101. How do they get the name 101, Joe?
You told me this at one point. I forgot.
Because Florida A&M's called the marching 100. And 100 is just not enough. You got to have one mo.
Okay.
Not more. One mo.
Mo. M-O.
There you go.
So special teams, the difference late in this third quarter. Nick Belcher doing a good job of helping his team out after a rough first half. Here's Tariq Cohen, the freshman. Good speed, good strength running through Mason Harris. Close to a first down. Boy, he's only 5'8", 170, but he runs much bigger than that.
He runs, he plays much bigger, not afraid to mix it up. Normally when running backs are his size, and you can see the difference, Kendall only goes 6'1", but he looks like he's 6'6" when he's standing next to Cohen. Cohen not afraid to mix it up and hit some contact.
2nd and 1 off of the zone read. Kendall pulls, tries to dance back into open space. Enough for a first down, but a flag down, and that'll bring it back. A block coming back into the formation by Michael Weaver will negate this first down.
There'll be a block in the back at the end of the run. And once again, I'm not so sure about the decision not to give the ball to Tariq Cohen. Let him keep running.
Number 28 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's 26, not 28. 28 was the ball, the guy that was faked to.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a hole. I thought it was a block in the back, but you got to look at the situation. It's 2nd and 1. You have a running back that just ripped off a nice 9-yard run and finished. You run the read option, give it to him. If he doesn't get it, okay, it's 3rd and 1. When you start improvising and running backwards as a quarterback, that's not the game management that you need to display.
So instead of a first down, it's 2nd down and 9 now from the 15 with his 3rd quarter winding down. Not sure Kendall realizes it's going to bring this 3rd quarter to a close. Officials letting it go. Clock's been out for several seconds. A free play to end this 3rd quarter. That clock had been out for at least 5 seconds. And the officiating crew, none of them saw it. Special teams the story late in this 3rd for South Carolina State. And they lead it as we go to the 4th.
The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, 13 institutions, all bringing the dreams of our...
Back on college football, presented by McDonald's. It's been a good one, 19-17 as we go to the 4th with South Carolina State in front. The defenses have been as advertised.
32 plays for 0 yards or less. There have been negative plays involved in there. South Carolina State, Richard Pugh was efficient in the first half. Been kind of shaky here in the 2nd. North Carolina A&T has found some success running the football, but it's not a running situation right now.
Most of that 3rd quarter played in this half of the field. A&T trying to shift field position, but just 4 of 12 on 3rd down today. Pressure's picked up. Kendall steps up and goes down. He had Michael Weaver wide open in the middle of the field, but Shaquan Brock got him. And he brought his eyes down a little too soon. 4th down.
Pressure will make you leave the pocket, but keep your vision downfield. So he should just settle right there. He runs into him, into the contact, instead of just settling, sidestepping him a little bit and hitting the wide open receiver. But that's a perfect example of what you said. Weaver was open right there in front of him, crossing the field. But when you're looking at the rush, instead of looking downfield, you don't see wide open receivers.
Proskura's last one was blocked for a safety. This one a line drive, 34 yards to Stephen Murphy. And Murphy gets thrown down. That's a huge tackle on special teams for Tony McCray. A flag is down at the 42-yard line. Boy, had he not made that tackle, there was a lot of room.
During the return, block in the back. Number 36 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
Well, just 7 races left. NASCAR's best continue to drive for the championship. Not much room for air anymore. Matt Kenseth trying to hold off Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch for the top spot in the standings. Round 4, the chase for the Sprint Cup. The NASCAR South Carolina State from the 35. Q will boot. And throw for McDonald, who's got it. Look out. There he goes. 65-yard touchdown.
Several times we've seen Richard Q get lucky on throws, and that was another one of the lucky throws there. Wasn't the best read, but Tyler McDonald made a fantastic play to concentrate, make the catch, and the run after catch for the score.
Belcher's extra point is good. South Carolina State has scored 12 in a row to take its largest lead.
I mean, this is one here where McDonald's going to run across the formation, but it seems like there's pretty good coverage thrown against the grain of his body, and Isaiah Martin, the free safety for North Carolina A&T, was there but wasn't able to deflect the pass. Q had enough velocity on the throw. Game breaker by McDonald.
Yeah, Martin took a chance, went for the pick, instead it turns into 6 the other way.
And he had pretty good defense, and that's one there where Q rolling out to his left, going back against his body, able to get enough torque on the throw, get enough velocity, RPMs on it for the completion. And McDonald, what's his yards per catch average coming into the ball
31
game?
and a half.
Yeah, going up a little bit now.
First completion of the half for Richard Q, and only 4 throws. But it's now importantly a 2-score game against this North Carolina A&T offense, struggling to get much going.
Now they've got the Aggies clearly on the ropes right now. And down by 9 in the fourth quarter, and an offense that hasn't had too many big plays this season. The fans always love you when you're winning, don't they? When you're putting points on the board, they love you. If it's a 7-6 ball game, they're kind of like, oh, you guys are boring.
Tony McCray brought the last one out from that deep. Better decision this time. And A&T to begin at the 25-yard line. What's got to change for them to have some success offensively?
The quarterback play, and I say it not just in throwing the football, but I thought in the last series, the decision on when to hand the ball off and when to keep it, I don't know if Lewis Kendall made great decisions in that situation there. I think you need to change your offensive format a little bit. We know you want to run the football first. I like having Tarek Cohen on the field. He's special, but put him on the same side of the field with somebody like Desmond Lawrence and see if South Carolina State can match your speed.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've tested them in the speed department.
Well, Lawrence had that 60-yard kickoff return to open the game. He's had 1 catch since. That's his only touch. They told us they wanted to get him more and more involved. He lines up in the slot to the near side for first down. Play action for Kendall, gets rid of it quickly. And Darren Bullock runs for close to a first down. Darius Drummond the stop. North Carolina A&T does not play conference favorite Bethune-Cookman. South Carolina State does towards the end of this month. That's why Buddy Pugh says this game is more important for the Bulldogs than it is the Aggies. Second down and 1. Lewis has a first down and drags Reggie Owens for a couple of extra yards to the 39. Lewis with a long touchdown in the second half for A&T on a 13-yard scamper back in the third.
And that's a decision on the last drive. 2nd and 1 have they made. They would have had the first down, still had the football. This time they made the adjustment, hand the ball off in those obvious run situations. But I still think you're going to need somebody like a Cohen or Desmond Lawrence to touch the football to score in a hurry to put some more pressure on the South Carolina State offense. You can't allow them to rest comfortably with a 9-point lead.
Tariq Cohen back in the game, a running back. And not much room. Marquise Parks along with Joe Thomas. And it'll be second down.
That was a welcome to the MEAC football type of play there with Parks and Joe Thomas introducing the running back to hard hitting.
Looking to throw into the pressure. They throw a screen back the other way. And Hargrave read it well. Javon Hargrave, the sophomore defensive tackle, dropping Dominic Drake for a loss of 4, and it's 3rd down and 14.
And this is just good team defense. They're going to recognize the screen, but I want you to look at the job that they do on the right side. The screen not open. If you come back the other way, it's still not open. Red jerseys swarming to the football. Sound fundamental. You don't see aggressive defenses that are normally that fundamentally sound.
Hargrave will step out for this 3rd down and long play. Bulldogs back 8 into coverage. Carter still gets close to Kendall, who steps out. He throws, and Lawrence can't catch up. He was past the line when he threw it, I believe. There was also a hit when he let it go. Flags down. We'll see what it is. Justin Hughes, the guy that hit him.
Seems like there are 2 flags down.
Another band not supposed to play through the play. I don't think they've stopped the second half.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible receiver downfield. Illegal forward pass. We would take the illegal forward pass and spot the foul. 5-yard penalty. Also loss of down.
So now 4th down with 11:40 to go. Figure no choice but to punt it. And now I see Michael Weaver, receiver for North Carolina A&T, looking over at his band, waving his hands down like, will you ever stop? We're on offense right now. We can't hear.
And I was surprised they weren't called for a warning. Normally the official will give them a warning for bands making noise during the offensive possession for either squad. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, we played 15 minutes and 15 seconds in the 3rd quarter, too, so they're kind of letting things go today.
Had to bring that up.
Yeah. Rascura had one blocked in his own end zone. That's the difference in this game right now. The safety that cut it to 1. They converted a field goal in the ensuing drive to take the lead. And a long pass play to Tyler McDonald has it a 2-score game with South Carolina State set to get the ball back. Drummond has some room. Drummond got a block and got all the way to the 43 in North Carolina A&T territory. Rascura, the punter, over to make the stop, along with Marquise Boyan. South Carolina State with the ball when we come back.
The chase continues at Kansas tomorrow at 1 on ESPN, presented by Dodge Trucks.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
Kept on playing right through the break. Actually, this is the first time they've stopped today.
I like the uniforms.
Now those blue and yellow band uniforms?
No.
Oh. From the 42, South Carolina State looking for a knockout blow. D'Andre Lewis-Freeman loses a few on first down. Malik Hampton-Prelo and Michael Neal combining on the stop. North Carolina A&T, one of the top defenses in the country, in need of a stop. Those uniforms.
Yeah, see, during the commercial, they were still keeping it going. So at least they're consistent. They're going to play in the second half. They're going to play in the second half.
Right.
You know, if you have nice uniforms like that, you want to make sure you use them, and everybody gets to see them.
Okay. Lewis-Freeman, big cutback seam. First down inside the 25. Olatoye with a tackle. Now to pick up with 22 yards.
It finally paid off. They've been force-feeding the run all game long. They finally get a hat on a hat. Tristan Bellamy, the big center, number 55, able to seal in the middle. Good job by Lewis-Freeman. running in the middle of the field. First down for the Bulldogs. And this is danger zone time for North Carolina A&T right now.
Back to Lewis Freeman. Same cut. 4 yards to the 20. Crosby and Martin, the safeties, combining in the tackle. Really got to hold South Carolina State to a field goal here.
It's imperative. And right now, maybe the size differential that we talked about is starting to show. Fourth quarter, 10 minutes to go. Starting to get a little extra push from the Bulldog offensive line versus the Aggies.
Field goal would make it 12. Touchdown with an extra point would still keep it a 2-possession game at 16 points. It's quite a hill to overcome when you're facing the South Carolina State defense. Lewis Freeman's 3rd straight carry, 3rd straight cutback, first down and goal. Landis Schaffner with a stop, and Lewis Freeman says, I'm staying in the game.
This is just a great second effort. They do a good job of stretching him out, but once he makes a crease, they're a step slower. They missed the tackle by Malik Hampton, preload, number 90. This is the tackle you have to make right there. You're coming over to help. You must stop the play. They do not. And Lewis Freeman makes him pay.
Back to him on first down and goal. His 4th consecutive touch gains him to the 3, 2nd and goal. Lewis Freeman, who was on the scout team 2 weeks ago. Injuries to technically the top 3 running backs for South Carolina State. And now he finds himself as the reigning MEAC Offensive Player of the Week and the guy trying to ice this game for the Bulldogs. Second and goal. Lewis Freeman again. This time he's shut down. Devontae Grant and Adeshi Olatoye combining in the stop. Brian Houston there as well. 3rd and goal.
The Aggies have given up a rushing touchdown already this game to have their long streak snap. Can South Carolina State add a little bit more salt to the wound?
Ron Broadway's team went 7 straight games without giving up a rushing touchdown. High snap. Q is in trouble now, and it's 4th down and goal. Malik Hampton Prelo is the guy that helped Brian Houston bring him down. And out comes the field goal team.
That can be big. It wasn't that the snap was high. It was an inaccurate snap thrown to the left side where the run was clearly going to be a handoff to the right. Disrupted the timing of the exchange, and that could be a big play. That could be a big play there.
Looking at a 12-point lead instead of a 16-point lead, which would really make you have to be perfect down the stretch to have a chance. Belcher hit from 49 for a career long his last time, and now punches it through from 22. And South Carolina State has scored the last 15 points and leads by 12 midway through this 4th quarter of this pivotal early season MEAC matchup.
You do know our song, don't you?
Of course, babe. It must have been sent from up above.
When seconds matter most, connect on AT&T, the nation's fastest 4G LTE network.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And in part by AT&T. Rethink possible.
Back in Atlanta. Jay Walker, Joe Davis at the Georgia Dome. North Carolina A&T hoping they can come from behind. His Buddy Pugh's squad has scored 15 unanswered, all sparked by that block punt that turned into a safety. Followed that with a field goal, a long touchdown to Tyler McDonald, and another field goal. And a North Carolina A&T offense that's really struggled will need 2 scores to avoid its first loss in 7 games dating back last year.
And they're going to have to do something that's out of their realm. They've been playing from ahead most of the season. Now they're playing from behind. Desperation time. They need some quick scores.
Here's Tony McCray with room. And boy, that room closed down. He thought that he had a huge seam, and then Tevin Richards showed up. Well, on Thursday, ESPNU's coverage of college football continues. The South Carolina State squad will take on North Carolina Central. ESPNU's college football presented by McDonald's. South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, Thursday on the U.
The game will have added importance. If South Carolina State is able to hold on, then they remain in control of their own destiny. North Carolina Central, good ball club. They're right there in the thick of things as well.
Last 3 possessions for North Carolina A&T, 12 plays, 15 yards. It's going to boil down to Lewis Kendall's got to get going throwing the ball.
Got to make some plays. He has to make some plays. And I would still test him down the field with Desmond Lawrence. We haven't seen him go vertically to Lawrence all game.
Keeping the play alive. And we'll scramble for a few. Smart move on first down. Pushed out by Malcolm Reed. Just over 7 minutes left in this one. Clock starts again with a spot of the ball. And A&T's got to start getting in a hurry here. Needing 2 scores. Needing some big plays. Kendall got rid of it to Drake, who made a move for a first down. Dominic Drake to the 38-yard line. That's a gain of 9. Mario McFadden makes the tackle. Now 8 today for him.
And this is where, if I'm offensive coordinator Ricky Bustle, I'm going hurry up a little bit. You've got a first down, you're moving the chains, get the plays called, see if you can just get some type of flow and tempo here in the second half.
Kendall rolling. The out with a corner. He'll take off and get a couple. Malcolm Reed again runs him down, pushes him out. There is Ricky Bustle. First season at North Carolina A&T. Spent 9 years as a head coach at Louisiana Lafayette. Most recently was an assistant at Southern Miss in Tulane. Second down and 6. Clock winding. They bring 5. Kendall over the middle. There's Lawrence. First down into South Carolina State territory. Not only his second catch of the night, this one goes for 16.
Opening up the vertical passing game, and the middle of the field's been open. Crossing routes have been there. If they can protect for Kendall, he throws a good ball. Lawrence makes the catch.
From the 42 now. Kendall taking a shot, has Weaver. But overshot him. A freshman who had a chance to make a play earlier in this game on a double move couldn't. And in this one, maybe could have benefited from continuing to run under the ball.
Maybe so, but it's just a throw. When you look at Kendall's body language, just lets you know he just missed that throw. And know what you're dealing with. You've got a 5'9" wide receiver playing on the outside. So, you know, small target to hit down the field. You must be a little bit more accurate. Just hasn't been there today.
8 drop into coverage this time. They go underneath to Darren Bullock, who gets a handful and makes it 3rd and 5. Mason Harris with the tackle. Clock winding down near 5.5 minutes. All 3 timeouts left for North Carolina A&T, needing 2 scores. Better tempo now. Kendall gets rid of it on time. Lawrence for a first down. Dragged down by McFadden. The clock will stop for him to reset the chains, and North Carolina A&T will hurry.
And this is a good one. All you want to do is just get him the ball as quickly as you can. Maybe could have gotten to him 1 or 2 steps sooner. But instead, they take your time, make sure it's a completed pass. By leverage, they were able to pick up that first down.
Lawrence has doubled his production receptions-wise on this drive. Bubble screen, Bullock got a block from Brown. Darren Bullock pulled out of bounds at the 26. Mason Harris with another tackle. That's 5 yards. And it'll be second down with the clock again stopped.
And defensive coordinators across the country, they become predictable at times. They'll give you everything in front. Then the moment you cross that 30-yard line, you start to take them out their comfort zone. They start to bring pressure. That last play, South Carolina State brought the blitz. Wouldn't be surprised if they brought the blitz again now that A&T is showing some signs of life.
Only 4 rush. Kendall backing. Can't get sacked here. Flips that one up for grabs. Incomplete. Not sure how he stayed out of the sack.
And there was no whistle blown. Kendall here being grabbed.
It's great effort
by Reggie Owens and does not go down. Almost throws an interception. Instead, calling that incomplete pass.
So lucky that he's able to get rid of it. 3rd down and 4 now. Kendall zips one. Lawrence has got it.
Look out.
Speed to the corner. Touchdown Aggies. Still alive here in the 4th.
They say speed kills, right? Where has that been all game? Feed him. He showed you that he's fast. I mean, he's not overrated when we talk about world-class track speed. I mean, get him the ball in stride. He's going to separate. Watch him take the angles. He goes backwards, just outrun him. And I don't care how many more yards they have. Darius Drummond was not going to catch him.
Second receiving touchdown of the season. And North Carolina A&T is within 5 with 4.5 to go and all 3 timeouts. Lewis Kendall to Desmond Lawrence from 25 yards, and now one of the nation's top defenses will try and get the ball back inside of 5 minutes.
Trying to make sure we're getting ready. Excuse me. Hey, Flacco, what's in the bag?
McDonald's new Mighty Wings.
Those look good. I'll play you for them.
For what, my wings?
First one to miss has to watch the other one eat.
Let's go. Left upright.
Or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
All the way from Orangeburg here to Atlanta for this big-time MEAC matchup early on in the conference schedule. And North Carolina A&T with a solid drive to get back to within a score. 4.5 left, all 3 timeouts, and one of the nation's top defenses will try and get the ball back for one last chance. Austin Smith from the 1. Smith cuts to the outside. Tyree Andrews pushes him out of bounds. ESPNU's coverage of women's college soccer continues tomorrow with an SEC conference battle. Gamecocks and Volunteers. South Carolina ranked number 19. Taking on Tennessee. 3 o'clock on ESPNU and on Watch ESPN.
Well, Joe, it all comes down to this. A little bit, 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Nursing a 4-5 point lead. How much do you trust your quarterback, Richard Q? If A&T can make some stops on 1st, 2nd down, do you let them throw the ball or not? I think everybody in the Georgia Dome assumes they're going to run it right now.
And they do. Lewis Freeman on 1st down, hit in the backfield, stumbles forward. 2nd down and 10. Malik Hampton Prelo got him first.
And you call the timeout there. Anytime you can hold them to less than a yard or 2. You say this is where we're going to make our stand at this point in the ball game on this part of the field. I think rest of the conference is learning what folks down in the SWAC and North Carolina Central knew, that Rob Broadway is one of the best coaches in America.
HBCU post-game report to follow, presented by Lexus. Yeah, he's turned this thing around.
I mean, just think about where he's been. He won a national championship, an HBCU national championship at North Carolina Central. Took over a Grambling program that was struggling and just won down there. And now has North Carolina A&T 7 wins a season ago, ranked in the top 5 in all the polls, undefeated thus far, with an opportunity to keep on winning. That's just, you just look at the track record. Everywhere he goes, he just produces victories, and not only victories, but championships.
His defense trying to come up with another stop to give the offense a chance. 2nd and 9. Lewis Freeman again with a cutback. Crosby with a solid open field tackle, or else that was probably going to be a first down. Martin helped him. They don't use the 2nd timeout. Clock continues to run for what will be a 3rd down and 5.
That's interesting. I thought you would have used a timeout. You still have one for your offense if you do it, but how much do you trust your quarterback, Buddy Pugh? Joe Blackwell, offensive coordinator.
16 of 23 through the air today. He looks to throw on the slant. It's broken up and no flags. Ayodele Olatoye defending West, and a 3-and-out forced by the Aggies.
Fortunate this ball wasn't intercepted. It hung in the air for a while. If you're going to throw that quick slant, it's got to be thrown on time with rhythm. Not there. That's just great coverage by Olatoye.
And that stops the clock. A&T still with 2 timeouts.
And they're probably going to get the ball with pretty good field position.
Belcher has really struggled punting it for the most part today. The flag comes flying in. Delay of game.
Delay of game. Number 36 of offense.
Oh.
5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Can't do that in this type of game. Yards are at a premium. You're helping out the offense on the return. They're going to get the ball back, and it goes back to, remember that 3rd and 1 when they had 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line?
Had to settle for a field goal.
And had to settle for a field goal because of the missed snap. Now all of a sudden, if A&T gets this football back, they've got an opportunity to go for the win with the touchdown.
A&T blocked the punt last week. They blocked 2 against South Carolina State last year.
And Graham is dangerous back there as a return man.
Top return man in the MEAC. They set up the return on a punt of 39 yards, and contact is made. That will help North Carolina A&T even more. Austin Smith bumped into Graham.
How was he able to hold on to this ball? Good concentration. There's no halo rule in college football, but got to give him an opportunity to make the catch.
Kick catching interference on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Puts the ball at the 45.
And you can understand why this is a 15-yard penalty because of the safety issues. Woo! You look at that. That's close. But that's a bang-bang play right there. And if you get there a millisecond too soon, that's too soon. There was contact made.
Because the Aggies saved those couple of timeouts, with 3.5 minutes here, you can really run your full offense.
And you've got your timeouts.
Kendall will start with a straight drop. Throwing into coverage and incomplete. Wanted Bullock in a tight window, 2nd and 10.
This is right now, just think how many other teams in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference are watching what takes place right now. Particularly a school like Bethune-Cookman You're thinking they have to be pulling for North Carolina A&T since they don't play this season. A lot is on the line these last 3 minutes and 19 seconds.
All kinds of time. He'll check down for Dominique Drake. Drake runs out of an ankle tackle and gets a first down to the 44. Tyler Smith had a shot at him, then Mariel Cooper wound up getting him after 11.
It was the time provided by the offensive line that allowed Kendall to go through his full progression. Drake was a fourth option. Kendall was able to hit the check down and pick up the first down. I go for a double move right here, some type of slant go, see if you can catch somebody slipping in the secondary for South Carolina State.
They bring 5. Kendall steps up underneath for a short gain. That's the first catch for Torian Warren this year. Tackle made by Tevin Richards. 2nd down and 7. Still 2 timeouts for the Aggies and 2.5 left.
And why do teams start to blitz? When they feel a little bit uncomfortable. You get them out of their comfort zone. Right now, defensive coordinator Mike Adams is a little bit uncomfortable at South Carolina State, looking to get some pressure by blitzing.
Great job by Kendall to pull that snap down and give it to Drake, who fights for close to a first down. Boy, that had disaster written all over it with a bobble.
He went up and caught it high, but look at the effort by Drake. Should be tackled there at the line of scrimmage. Goes through another tackle and yet another one and almost picks up the first down. Good hard running by Dominique Drake.
Who comes out for 3rd and 1.
Hand it off.
Kendall keeps it, first down.
He's got more guts than I would have there. I would go ahead and give it to him, but he still ran where the play was designed to go.
A minute 45 and counting. 2 timeouts for North Carolina A&T. Continues to run really whatever it wants with this time situation.
Look for Desmond Lawrence going down the seam or in the deep middle of the field.
Kendall is pressured and sacked back at the 47 by Andrew Carter. The one thing you couldn't have happened.
Now what you have to do, forget about the sack. Get your team up to the line of scrimmage or call a timeout. Okay, they called the timeout. Sooner or later, Andrew Carter was going to make a play, and this is Carter right here. He's going to find a way to get to the quarterback. Nice bull rush with the spin move, and once he gets his hands on you, I told you, he's got that grown man strength. You're not going to escape the clinches of Andrew Carter,
who's now got 8.5 sacks this year. That's 2nd in the country. North Carolina A&T doesn't have to play conference favorite Bethune-Cookman. South Carolina State does at the end of October. Buddy Pugh, head coach for the Bulldogs, says that's why this game is more important for his team. So you go from 1st and 10 at the 33 to 2nd and 20 back at the 43.
That's all right. That's the mindset you have to have as a quarterback right now. I've got 3 throws right now to get a first down. You see North Carolina A&T does not play Bethune-Cookman. That's what's missing. The way Florida A&M is struggling right now, you think for them, if they win this game, it all comes down to November 23rd. If all were to play out, unless there were some surprises there, they could have a good chance at going undefeated if they can get by South Carolina State.
Lewis Kendall, who was 4 of 11 in the first half, 10 of 14 in the second half, trying to lead the comeback. 8 drop into coverage, 3 in the pattern, down the seam. Lawrence has it knocked away. McFadden and Drummond in coverage, and it's 3rd down.
They finally took a chance going to Lawrence down the seam and looked like he was going to make a great catch. Ball was thrown on the money. Had his hands in an improper catch position, not able to hold on.
Guy playing football for the first time in college. Junior that ran track his first 2 years.
You must get a completion here. Give yourself a chance. You don't have to get all 20 yards right now. Pick up 10. If you don't get a completion here, ball game's over.
They drop 8 and bring him in late. Kendall firing down the sideline. Incomplete. 4th down. They wanted Torian Warren, who just got his first catch of the year. Stephen Murphy in coverage.
They're very lucky this wasn't called pass interference. Warren did a good job of getting by him. He's got time in the pocket. Elects to go for the home run ball. You've got to turn around and look for that football. How's that not a face guard?
Now you have to have contact in college football for it to warrant a pass interference.
I thought he was draped over him.
And no reason to save that timeout. They'll use it here to talk about what to do.
North Carolina A&T. That's their last charge timeout of the half.
South Carolina State has that game at Bethune-Cookman, October 26th. First up, though, not an easy one on Thursday at Central. Real small, bandbox type place, tough to play in.
Yeah, good football team as well. They're starting to play well in spite of having an interim head coach for this football season. So Buddy Pugh knew that his tough stretch was going to be right now, taking on A&T, followed by Central, followed by Bethune-Cookman.
So looking ahead of this 4th down and 20 play, you got to figure he'll bring 3, drop 8 into coverage, let those beasts up front try and apply the pressure.
Especially considering on the previous play, an A&T wide receiver was able to get behind the defensive secondary for South Carolina State. I would make sure I double teamed Andrew Carter. If you try and ISO him one-on-one when you've got receivers trying to go down the field for 20 yards at least.
Last chance for North Carolina A&T. Bulldogs drop 7. Kendall pressured. He keeps the play alive. His eyes downfield. He heaves long into traffic. Incomplete. South Carolina State takes over.
He's going to get flushed out of the pocket. You want to stay in the pocket as long as you can. But what a rush by Javon Hargrave to really force him to spin out of the pocket. Good athleticism, escaping. But Hargrave stayed on the quarterback, not allowing him to set up. And the secondary took over from there. Bulldogs 54 seconds away from knocking off the Aggies.
Four red shirts down there on 2 receivers. So South Carolina State going to win its 4th consecutive game and hand Rob Broadway's squad its first loss of the year, snapping a 7-game winning streak dating back to last season.
And it's a huge win. I want to go back to that last play there. They talked about Javon Hargrave from South Carolina State really being a disruptor. He pretty much decimated them. Watch the penetration up the middle on the double team. Could have been called for a hands to the face there. He keeps going. Now, when he gets the spin move, he continues to track the quarterback, not allowing Kendall to reestablish a pocket outside of the original tackle box. That's the type of plays that they say he's able to do by disrupting an offense by himself. Good hustle by Hargrave.
They will have to snap it here and do, and that does it. Take a look at our player of the game, brought to you by AT&T. It's Darius Drummond who had that block punt turned into a safety and a big sack to help set that up. And 5 tackles as part of this defensive effort for South Carolina State. A team that 1 year ago went 5-6, first losing season under Buddy Pugh in his 11 years at the helm. But now they've won 4 straight after losing back-to-back games to start the year. We'll step aside after a 29-24 South Carolina State win. When we come back, it'll be the Lexus HBCU post-game report.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood, sweat, and soul. A lot goes into team. But what we take away stays with us forever.
The light bulbs in your house were invented by Thomas Edison in 1879. Now think about that with your 2013 brain. Do you still do the wash down at the creek while your eldest son stands lookout for wolves? No, you don't. This is a Cree LED bulb. It lasts 25 times longer. Nostalgia is dumb.
The Cree LED bulb. Every generation has their Lees. These are yours. Introducing the new Lee Modern Series for men. Designed to look better, crafted to fit better. This is legendary American denim. This is the new Lee.
Welcome into the Lexus HBCU post-game report. Big win for South Carolina State. They come from behind in the second half and then hold off North Carolina A&T 29-24. We welcome you back inside our broadcast booth. Former NFL quarterback Jay Walker, Joe Davis. Huge win for South Carolina State early on in this conference schedule.
I mean, they're playing their best football right now. They started out the football season 0-2. They've won 4 consecutive games. This is the football team that's on a roll. Look out for the Bulldogs.
Not sure how we had 50-some points in this game. Defense really on both sides was really good, but South Carolina State especially coming up with big stops at big moments.
That was the name of the game, defense, and you knew that coming in. Both these teams are fueled by their defense. I thought it was one of the most impressive defensive performances I've seen by 2 football teams in a while. There were so many 0 yardage or negative plays in this football game. That's what it really came down to, over 30 of those plays. And at the end of the day, it was defense coming up, making a play, flushing the quarterback out of the pocket, throwing a desperation pass. But I was impressed by both defenses, but South Carolina State did enough offensively to walk away with the victory today.
And their head coach, Buddy Pugh, told us earlier this week, look, this game is bigger for our squad because we've got to play Bethune-Cookman. They don't.
They do not. That's going to be the key. I mean, they're going to take on Bethune-Cookman October 26th. Everybody's going to be watching, but they still give themselves a chance to control their own destiny. As a football team, that's all you want to do is be in control of your own destiny. Win out, and you go to the postseason.
Team that went 5-6 last year, first losing season under Buddy Pugh now in a dozen years, but responding after that and after a 2-game losing streak to begin the year. They've won 4 straight. And they beat North Carolina A&T 29-24. To Jay Walker and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying goodbye from Atlanta and the Georgia Dome, where South Carolina State hangs on.
This is SportsCenter U.
Last week, they needed a late score to beat LSU. A week later, some more drama for the Dogs. How UGA kept its BCS title hopes